Welcome to the Trailchasers podcast.
This episode is presented by Nexen Tire. If you want to increase the performance of your rig both on and off the road, go to nexentireusa.com and get a set of roadianmtx's. And this show is also brought to you by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. This weekend was the 4-Wheeler Adventure Expo, and we put the Ranger in the Icon booth. And even though Matt doesn't want to admit it, there were a lot of people interested in the Ranger and the awesome Icon suspension system underneath it. Why? Because it's the best.
Okay. Today on the show, we talk about this weekend's epic Adventure Expo in Orange County. Cody sent me some directions to get there, and I thought for sure, this is a trap. Those OC people are going to see that Frontier coming from miles away. And you know what? Nothing happened. I think it's because I wore my fancy sweatpants. What do you think, Jose?
I think it was the White Claw that you had in your ice chest that gave you the free pass.
White Claw.
It's time for the Trailchasers podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin. Trailchaser, let out the chase adventure. Trailchaser, our time is now. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure.
Hey, good evening, live feed, Instagram, Facebook, anybody that's joining us right now.
We're a lively bunch.
Oh, man, I got to tell you.
Like right at the gate.
We are. So today is Monday. It's the Monday after Adventure Expo, and we are all pretty spent, man. It was kind of a crazy weekend, a good weekend, productive weekend, but crazy, right? I mean, am I wrong?
No, super crazy, super exciting. Met a lot of cool people. Had a lot of really good interviews. I think that event was very successful. Everybody kept talking about, I think this is really successful for first show.
Yeah, I talked to one of the ladies that was working with the company that actually promoted it, that actually did it, and she seemed happy with the outcome. That was day 2.
Dude, you got to think about the coronavirus is out there.
People are canceling stuff left and right, and kudos to the community for just coming out. I don't know if makes you guys just resilient or dumb
or desperate for something to do. I don't know. I mean, we were there, so
Yeah, what does that say about us?
we're dumb.
Exactly.
We're on the dumb side. Trust me.
that's true.
I have no resilience left whatsoever.
We don't even argue about that.
No.
Like, I'm just dumb. Okay.
So we're going to be just a quick recap of the weekend. So Friday, from my perspective, was back and forth with the syndicate team. I ran over there after work, picked up the trailer. Asrex 1.
What did it actually stand for?
Adventure Series.
All Sport or
No, Adventure Series Rex 1. But seriously, Asrex 1.
It was Asrex 1.
And not only was it Asrex 1, Casey got in there and took those photos.
I know.
The photos of Casey on Asrex 1 was epic. And so I picked that up and towed it out to the...
How do you know all those poses?
You'd be surprised at what my brother knows in a different life. He didn't.
What does that mean? What do you think he was in another life?
He didn't get to where he is with his looks. I tell you that. That's not what we do.
Probably has an OnlyFans page. No.
Is your mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah. So we got the trailer out there on Friday. Got it staged next to the Icon semi. Icon was having their truck detailed. I mean, people were running around getting set up. I was fortunate when I pulled up, Clay and Rochelle Croft were there talking to Jeremy from Icon, so I got to say hi to them, talk to them for a little bit. Jeremy and I walked around.
So what? They rode in the Frontier.
We're going to get to that. So then Jeremy and I kind of walked around the event and, trying to help get some stuff done. And, I feel bad for Jeremy to an extent. He's got so much stuff on his plate, and as he's walking around that event, everybody was like, Jeremy, like, you know, trying to get 5 minutes of his time. Mm-hmm. You know, he has a lot of stuff going on.
I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's
position.
great problem to have in his position. But it, like, you know, trying to make a lap around the thing, you know, what could have been a 12-minute walk was 4 hours. But he handles it really well. So we spent some time with Jason DeMello and set up an interview with him over the weekend. Friday was a you know, just kind of a setup thing, and everybody was there doing their setup stuff. Saturday morning, Jose and I went out early. Matt was doing learning things.
Yeah, I'm, you know, trying to better myself.
You should take more classes then.
It's probably endless, you know. But then again, you could look at it as, you know, I'm so far at the bottom that anything is a positive, right?
Anything you do at this point helps.
Yeah, so that's the way I'm going to look at it. You can be negative if you wanted to be. So yeah, I had a class on Saturday morning. I think I got there. I think I brought the crowd.
You did. So
apparently, from what I heard.
Yes, and Casey met us there early. Casey and Susan and Zen met us there early on Saturday. So we got everything set up, which actually went smoother than expected because we did some pre-work. And then right about the time you got there, it like the floodgates open. And I think
everybody heard.
The actual gates for the event opened at 9, and they were
9.
on the complete opposite side. We were at the far end of the runway.
Yep.
And I think it just took that long for everybody to get down there.
There's so much to see.
Oh, so much to see there. You made the comment, you'll hear it on one of the things, that if there was an overland catalog, this is what it would look like.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like the catalog came to life. And
yeah,
the parts were just scattered everywhere.
And the intent wasn't necessarily overlanding. The intent of the show was to highlight, and you'll hear this in some of the conversations, highlight the vehicle as a means to get to your next adventure, like kayaking or fishing or biking or whatever
the outside activity is.
Yeah, and they did a good job of mixing that in with the vehicles. You know, there was, you know, the obvious tires and you know, overland gear and tents and what have you. But there was electric bikes there was kayaks there was all kinds of stuff there. So Saturday morning we did that. When we got it up here, we broke the Matrix. Twice. Yeah. The first time it happened it was kind of slow, and the Jillian episode had just aired on Thursday, and this is now Saturday. So Saturday morning, I just kind of hit play. We had the way our booth was set up. We had the orange room right next to the Icon booth. Out in front of the orange room, we had the 2 big speakers, and we had the wireless microphones. But we had the computer hooked up to the speaker, so we were playing the Jillian episode. As we're playing the Jillian episode, she starts to walk by, and she's live streaming while the episode's playing. She turns around, comes back to us. So our episode of her was playing while she was live streaming us playing the episode. It was kind of weird.
It was a little weird.
It's kind of weird.
So did you guys see like in the Matrix where your vision turns like just a bunch of numbers scrolling and stuff?
No,
and
it was more like the Manhattan Project, where everything gets kind of a rainbow and negative.
Oh wow, rainbow and negative.
You know what I'm talking about? Manhattan Project, when they start to travel in time. And, and the sky kind of gets like...
and people get sucked into the ship. Like, yeah. Oh, dude, did anybody get sucked into things? Did that happen?
So going after...
I've always wondered if that's what, one of the penalties of time travel. There has to be a penalty, and if that's what it is, Go on.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. And then while Jose and I are sitting there,
everybody starts logging off now.
Yeah, I know.
All right, man. I've had enough.
While we,
I don't need this shit on a Monday. I can't deal with this guy tonight. You know what? I can't deal with this guy tonight.
I don't think anybody can deal with the 3 of us right now. We are zombies. We are the Walking Dead.
Sorry, everybody. We're just a little
trying to get through it. And then while Jose and I are sitting there having a conversation on the mic with projecting out on the speakers, Holman and Lightning from the Truck Show podcast were right there, and they came over and started giving us a hard time. And it was really fun. Those guys are really fun. It was a really good time. They came by later and did a full interview, which you'll hear as part of this episode. It was a good time talking to them. What else did we talk about on Saturday? You guys, we did some walking around. I think you guys did some man on the street stuff, right?
I think so.
We tried.
Yeah, you know what? It was Jose and I were talking earlier. We had some intention of like, okay, you know, someone's going to be at the booth and someone's going to be out there, and it just seemed like there was so much stuff happening in and around the booth with people coming by that it
was nonstop.
There was never a moment where it was like, hey, it's slow here.
No.
Because anytime it died down, we had to sit. It was like, oh man, I need 20 minutes to relax. We didn't have the. I think it was even with 4 of us basically working there full time. There wasn't a lot of spare moments to go out and do stuff, so we didn't get as many man on the streets things as we wanted. Well,
there was also that interesting, Jose and I went to go do the mans on the streets, and then next thing you know, we had a crew.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese.
I had somebody toting a clipboard for me to sign like waivers or something.
So we were trying to do some collaboration with the Syndicate guys, and they were doing some video, and it was just it was kind of a last minute thing, and we didn't really have a full plan when we went into it, and I think we were just not on the same page, and
just threw me off for sure because
we're not video guys.
We're not video people.
I'm also not like a waiver guy.
It's like, oh, can you sign this so you can?
Yeah.
So they were like, again, it was Sergio with
Sergio and Christian were there on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so he was, I'm your assistant today. Like, oh, okay, I don't have to pay you nothing, do I? I don't know what you're.
Yeah, talk to Cody about that.
Yeah. So then. They walk up who was that first place we stopped at?
RMT.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like, there's video of this somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be. We'll have to look into that. But when they walked up and they started, hey, we'd like to interview you. And they started, hey, can you just sign right here? And I looked over at Jose. I'm all, I think this negates my training. Like, I just went, this whole year I've been practicing my footwork, learning how to make use of the microphone. So
how to assault people with the microphone.
I can pin people down, keep them, you can corner them. I know how to make use of Jose now. Like, I know where he's going to be.
Well, the go-to move that your strongest move, which is just walking up with the mic already pointed at them.
You got to come in hot, baby.
You can't do that when you're on video because you got to get their, release. You got to get the permission.
So that threw me off.
Yeah, it did. It threw us off. I'm sure we can do more of it. Just we need to maybe practice and have some a better plan.
Should I continue on my footwork or
I don't know what.
Are we done with that now?
I think we need to do rather than having a camera person, we should do like they do with the ghost hunters, and they have those harnesses with the GoPro, GoPro. So it's like in your face as you're one facing backwards, one facing forward, and then you can shuck and jive and still get the video that you need.
I can get it, just have it hanging on the backside of their head, and somehow keep them like a halo right next to me.
You walk up like a demon with giant dragon wings, and you just wrap around him. But yeah, we did. Was it Saturday that you and I walked around towards the end of the night? Where we ended up like all the way towards the back. We went to look for Fred from Mountain Hatch.
Because
it was
me and Casey went to run you guys down.
Oh, that's right.
And we ended up with Dre with
the trail check. Yeah,
I think I interviewed him 3 times because I wasn't sure whether I was recording or not.
There was one recording that Matt and I did. I'm not going to say who it was because I feel bad if it didn't work out. I haven't checked yet because we have literally just in the recordings that we did in the studio, we have 3 hours of in the Orange Room, 3 hours of content just in stuff in the Orange Room.
Yeah.
So there is going to be a bonus episode this week. But Matt and I did an interview out in the streets, and as we're walking away, I went to turn off the wireless receiver. And I realized that the wireless receiver was not plugged into the recorder. And I was, oh no, I have no idea when that came out. Like, did that just happen? Or so we may need to reschedule an interview with somebody.
That's funny, man.
It's
and that person's a listener too. I think if it's the
Was
person
he?
if it's the person I'm thinking about, I think they're.
It was the one you and I did, and they. I'll just say it was Casey highlights. It was Randy.
That's right.
It was Randy with Casey highlights, and it was a really good interview. I mean, he was good to talk to. And as we're walking away,
Supposedly,
there's video. There's video for sure.
Yeah, maybe the camera crew caught some of that. I don't know. We walked around. We did. We were over at the one of the other booths, and Andy Sedano. You can find him on YouTube. He put together a clip of us talking to one of the guys in the booths. That video is already up. Dave, ZR2 Dave, Trail Adventures. He's
ZR2 Dave.
And I'm sorry, Dave from
it's
Trail
name
Adventures.
association.
Dave. Speaking of ZR2 Dave, today, as I left work, I'm on the 241 heading north. And I see him heading south on the 241. There's no other vehicles on the road except for the two of us, right? Coming by. So I instantly text him. I'm like, "Hey, watch where you're going." He's all, "You too," texting and driving. So
two ships that pass
in the night, exactly. But he's already got a video out. He did a really good video. I watched it today. He already has a video out of talking to all the different trailer manufacturers. He had a conversation with a bunch
Is that
of
a foreshadowing for something? Or?
I don't know. But it was pretty cool. So Saturday night, we were smart and we got a hotel room. I mean, even though
I was smart Saturday.
yes,
Too smart
you were
yesterday.
dumb. Even though we don't live far away from...
One day's not bad. Like, that's 50-50 for me. It's, it's actually pretty good. So,
we stayed in a hotel down there in Orange County Saturday night so that we didn't have to worry about the drive home and the drive back. That worked out great. Got back to the event on Sunday. And then Sunday just kind of was a little bit nuts. I mean, we had some stuff scheduled, but it kind of blew up. It was so we spent some time doing an intro in the morning. We talked to Adrian from Icon, and then Jason DeMello came over to the booth. We talked to him for a while. Danny from Syndicate Off-Road came over, talked to us about the trailer
That trailer got a lot of attention.
It did. It really did. They did so that you'll hear about it as we talk about it in the interviews. But we pulled that trailer out and had it parked behind the Ranger at the Icon booth, and it just seemed like someone was walking around it. At least someone was walking around it all day long, looking at it. So for what they consider to be a prototype,
It's pretty well sorted.
Pretty. It was pretty well put together. I mean, I talked to Danny when he picked it up. There's already some tweaks they want to make to it, some things they want to refine, but. I was really surprised at how well the thing was put together.
We should have taken shifts, taken naps in it.
I know.
And that way we could have. I'd probably feel better today, and B, we could talk about how comfy it was.
I did lay in it.
Was it comfortable?
It was, and I laid in it just long enough for me to say, I better get up. Because if I stay here any longer, I'm going to go to sleep.
I would have easily fallen asleep in that thing.
I'm thinking about sleeping in it now. Where is it?
Yeah, where is it?
Still around?
No, Danny. When I got home Saturday night, Danny met me here and picked it up and took it home. We talked to Ian Johnson.
That was a cool surprise. You just walked up.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
He needed
Oh, man.
He needed a place to sit down. We had chairs. He walked over and sat down. I mean, that was
sit on down. Jose tried to give him some White Claws.
I tried to give
everybody White Claws. So
everybody.
So it was for whatever reason.
It was like an ongoing joke.
It was a White Claw weekend. Casey and Jose were in White Claw fashion, like full effect.
Why?
I'm a clawhead. Well, there's no laws with the claw.
Oh man, you guys!
It's so funny though, like
so rambunctious.
But the response everyone gave was the same response every single time.
Response.
No, dude. No, I'm straight, dude.
Yeah.
I don't need that stuff.
I am a heterosexual male, sir.
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
not have one of your White Claws.
And then out of 8 out of 10 responses were I'm a straight male.
Yeah.
If not, then they're like I'm not a 20-year-old blonde girl.
Oh, there's some conversation you'll hear later in this about trying to get the guys to wear leggings and Ugg boots when they drink their White Claw. I would love to see that.
Would you?
Yes, get you guys some camo leggings, some mossy oak leggings and Uggs, and drinking a White Claw.
God,
we should do a White Claw commercial and send it into them. See if they'll take it.
No,
No.
God, why waste the time? They ain't gonna take nothing.
Yeah, you
from
don't want
us.
to waste White Claws.
Did you see that post? Someone posted a picture in the parking lot. There was a picture of a
Empty parking lot. It's just like a box of
empty box of White Claw, and
Yeah.
one dead
One-
can.
yeah, it's like,
and it was all Casey and Jose were here.
That was funny.
After Ian, Brad from Trail Recon came over and sat down in the booth for a good long conversation, and then at the end of Sunday, and we were all spent. Clay and Rochelle Croft from Expedition Overland came and spent a good 40 minutes in the tent with us. That was
We didn't have to tie them down. They were willingly talking to us. I think they enjoyed the conversation. I know we did.
we enjoyed it. I think that they're good.
Yeah.
They're performers. They're good at faking it at this point.
They're excellent. They're really good. That's top-notch fakery right there.
So me and Cody were talking earlier, dude. I was 100% fanboying out the whole weekend. But Cody, he's like, dude, you do a really good job of hiding it. But I was just like, dude,
I could see there were several times on the weekend where I know inside Jose was vibrating like a top, like whoa, and he just like, hey, how you doing, man? It's cool. Yeah, no, you're good. Just sit down.
White Claw. Or,
You want a White Claw?
Oh,
Maybe it was the White Claw.
You were overconfident on Claw.
I think that was my tell. That was my tell. That was like kind of nervous. I'm like, do you want a White Claw? Because I need one too.
Oh, jeez.
Did you get? Oh, AJ Photo Runner. AJ is the only
he's the only one?
that took a White Claw.
he
Sorry to
did.
sell you out, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry to sell you out.
He's like, is anyone looking?
I did have to give him an icon koozie to cover it up.
That's right. We talked about koozies for Red Bulls. We double for White Claws. It was like just no. You drink that White Claw.
He did. He even had a specific flavor he
Shamelessly.
chose.
Yeah. Well, he knew what he wanted. He got it. That's all. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal.
And then I think the craziest part of the weekend. It's the end of the day on Sunday. Everybody's breaking down. The icon
It
guys
was like
dude.
mad.
boom. Everybody
It's
in
like
that
a NASCAR pit crew, dude.
Yes, everybody starts breaking down. We're just chucking things in the back of the truck just to get it out of the way. And then Rochelle and Nikki from Expedition Overland come out of the building with all of their luggage, and Clay drives the Gladiator over and he's parking it, and they're talking about having to get to the airport.
Well, Rochelle's like, hey, do you guys know where we should tell our Uber driver where to pick us up?
Yeah, and I was
And
like,
then,
well, I don't know.
Like Uber.
Yeah, and we're going back and forth. I've got Ass Rex with me, so I'm like, I'm not driving through the airport.
The Asrex won.
Asrex
won.
I've got the wrecked ass one with me. Sorry, Daddy.
You didn't name it.
No, that's Casey. Casey's the wrecked ass.
For some reason,
Yeah,
all the
I had
trailers-
him with me.
It's going to be trailer number 1 from now.
Yeah, they're totally going to change their naming. They're going to be like, guys, we have to name him something.
It's going to be
completely
Syndicate trailer number 1.
different. Syndicate trailer.
We'll make something stupid out of that.
It'll be
Just give me
Syndicate
some
trailer
time.
demo 1, so
Yeah.
STD 1.
There we go.
All right.
See,
So
didn't even take
here you
that
go.
long.
we were like, I was like, okay, I've got to try to figure this out. And Matt's like, Uber? What do you need an Uber for? And they're like, oh, we're trying to get to the airport. Like Santa Ana? Yeah.
I said, like John Wayne?
Yeah. And
John Wayne's like right there.
He's all-
Next exit over.
he's all, just throw your shit in the back of the truck. I'll take you. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And literally they were like,
They're like,
okay. And they just start chucking their stuff in the back of the Frontier.
and then I thought about it. I'm like, dude, I still have like my kids' baseball shit in the back seat.
Dude, you have the most
still-
eclectic things in the back.
What?
Oh,
Jose,
sorry.
damn it. 22 minutes.
Did he throw an F-bomb?
He
right there?
just did.
I don't even hear him. They're so
I'm
prevalent.
like tuned into it now.
Yeah.
There was a baseball glove I grabbed, and then
Yeah.
a beanie.
A beanie.
Like a snow, the one with the fuzzy ball on the top.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It was a Dodger beanie. I had a bunch of other things in there,
And
like
the truck,
jackets.
truck
and-
hasn't been cleaned since Hammers.
Oh, no. I told him, I'm all, look, this might seem kind of gross, but this is Hammer's dirt, so it's really kind of cool, you know. And that was only a few weeks ago, so please don't judge me.
Dude, they live out of their trucks for
Yeah,
weeks on end.
I'm sure they're not afraid of a little dirt.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was. I took that picture and posted it
Yeah, that's
about
hilarious, dude.
about them getting in the Frontier. That could be the last time. It's the last episode of Expedition Overland. 'Cause
They made it in time. I got them to the right terminal
That you
They wanted
know
to
of.
go. They wanted. They said Delta. They got to Delta. Now it might have been frantic. There might. It might have been.
did you power slap?
Yeah, they might. I don't know. I don't know if they'll ever talk to me again. But they got there very quickly. Very quickly.
You were driving like me in the morning trying to get to the special McDonald's.
Oh no, nope.
Well, that's we don't even need it.
We're not even going to give that away. There's a whole segment on special McDonald's.
Jillian's talking about how we should have a female voice on the show. So I guess I can lower my voice.
Hold on, let me get a White Claw.
Yeah.
We do. We have
Yeah,
Jose.
I have a White
He's
Claw
a
and then-
24-year-old college kid.
Go get some White Claws.
White Claw and my Uggs.
Yes, I want to get you in some Uggs, but there's a good chance we will never ever hear from the Expedition Overland team. So
Yeah,
if
dude.
you,
I mean, that was a. I mean, let's be real. That was probably
more than likely going to happen anyways.
So I made an impression.
We got Rochelle to come on the show twice.
We did.
The first time I was like, "How did that happen?" The second time I was like, "How did that
I'm still trying to figure
And
out.
then we got both of them on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly,
I got them all in my truck. Like,
So
I'm still tripping out on that.
I wonder how much Jeremy from Icon had to bribe them. He's
I
like,
know.
look, if you guys just sit down and talk with these yahoos for a
Yeah.
half hour, we'll
Yeah,
re-up the we'll change the contract and give you
Yeah.
the
What
next
else do you
version.
need?
Yeah, what
So
else do you
when
need?
I saw them getting into the Frontier, there was two thoughts that went through my head. Either they're gonna
I thought one of you guys would go, wait a minute. No. Like, don't do that. Like, nope. It just happened. So,
I was like, we're either going to be lifelong friends after this because Matt is going to just
That
seal the
never
deal,
entered my mind.
or they're going to just never talk to us again.
They get to the terminal at John Wayne, and before they get out, Nikki is texting Jeremy, never let those
Yes.
those
F
three
you
guys
guys.
around us again, ever.
F you guys. You know, if they ever head up north, you better. An alarm better go off when they cross Vegas, you know.
Or here's what the one thing I thought is the entire expedition crew gets outfitted with Frontiers next year.
Oh yeah,
They're like, did you see
Tip
what
of the
Matt
spear.
did in that Frontier?
Yeah.
We need that's it. Sell the Gladiator, sell the Tundra.
We don't need any of that
sell
shit.
everything.
We're getting 2005 Frontiers.
The good news is you can get them pretty cheap. I guarantee you. They sound like they were a fiscally responsible show, and I'm telling you, capability wise and cost effective.
Can you imagine? I want to see Odin and the Frontier
that'd be
side
fun,
by
dude.
side. I'd still put my money on the Frontier.
You can't bet against it.
No, you can't. So that was Sunday night. We stopped for dinner Sunday on the way home. Got some wings. Tried to decompress and kind of put into perspective how the weekend went.
It was just so crazy, dude. Just the people we spoke. For me, like I'm safe to say that for me, I was just cloud nine Saturday and Sunday, and then we got to Buffalo Wild Wings. I was just, dude, I hit a wall. I was like, what's going on? Like, what happened?
Just the ride that we've been on the last couple weeks. I mean, and I'm not saying this because she's on the live feed, but having Jillian on the show was phenomenal. It was great to hear her story, and I think I can speak for the three of us. We still consider we're just some dorks in a spare bedroom having a
100%.
conversation, right? Like these people are out there doing things, and they're they're making an impact, and Jillian and Ian Johnson and DeMello and Clay and Rochelle and Brad and all these people are doing these things, and the fact that they take a moment out of their day to have a conversation with us is pretty humbling. And
because their time is so segmented, like especially at those events, like they have a pretty.
Oh yeah,
and then for them to come over to us and want to talk to us, I mean that's huge.
Jeremy was saying because we had a scheduled spot for Brad to be in the booth, and I'm trying to get a hold of Jeremy. I'm like, hey, have you heard from Brad? It's a couple minutes after. Should we be going over there, or whatever? And he's like, I'm trying to get him to the booth. but he gets stopped every 5 steps. Like every 5 steps, someone wants to talk to him and take a picture
Well,
with
so
him.
he was his Jeep was posted up at the very entrance of the show. We were at the complete opposite end. Like we were at the end of that row.
wasn't. Did you guys walk all the way down there?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I just barely made it to the other side of the quad.
No, well, Fred, Mountain Hatch was
they were-
all the way
yeah.
down the front end. Couple of our buddies were all the way down the front end. So
But yeah, so imagine they had to walk through all those people, and then to get to the orange room.
Was there? I'm going to ask, but was there a Steve Garvey sighting? Did
No.
anybody
I'm
maybe? Does everybody know what he looks like? I mean, he's pretty
is
famous.
he still alive?
He is still alive. He is still alive. He battled cancer, I think, a few years ago, but he made it through. And I just want to say, you guys, please keep an eye out. He's a SoCal guy, so this could happen. But if I guess nobody was looking for him.
No, I was
maybe-
not looking for Steve. Unless he was wearing a jersey that said Garvey, and then I would think that's just some old dude that likes Steve Garvey.
You know what? I have a Garvey jersey, so I'm gonna have to start wearing it. I guess
You are the old dude that likes Steve Garvey.
That's true. Getting older.
So, I mean, we were talking earlier about was there anything we could have done differently? I think we had planned on really kind of taking the 4 of us and teaming up, and 2 people in the booth and 2 people out on the street, and back and forth. But there was just so much activity happening that we really didn't get the chance to do that.
That was the weird thing, right? I mean, we didn't have to go out and for content. The content came to us like it was just nonstop.
We're not bragging.
When
but
Ian Johnson just walks into your booth
Yeah.
and sits down,
Yeah. He's like,
I
"Hey,
was
what's up,
looking-
guys?"
I'm looking this way, and he's like, "Oh man, I need a seat," and he sits down. I was all sweet.
Plop.
Here's a microphone.
he literally was like, "Hey, you guys mind if I chill here for a second?"
No,
You want a White Claw?
You want?
Yeah. So I'm
I'm just being a good host.
yeah. Thanks. The other thing that I think the big takeaway, the big thing that we failed on this weekend is other than audio content, we didn't get nearly any pictures.
Oh, nothing.
Video.
I don't think I got anything.
I kept throwing my phone to my
Yeah.
brother, like,
Yeah.
do me a favor, take some pictures or something. I feel like at an event like this,
we got more footage from Lee, who was walking around working for Syndicate. Dude, can you send us some of your photos? Because
Dude, I think,
it's 10 times more than what we have.
Whatever video he got is more than whatever we ever.
Oh, yeah.
That we ever combined that we've ever gotten.
and I think we need to do that. We need to find a way. We need to have like a dedicated resource that could just
A selfie stick, maybe?
no, because I think for the 3 of us, it's too hard
It's
to
already
be
bad enough you're drinking White Claws now, Jose.
Yes.
Now you
And the
wanna get
selfie stick?
Oh my goodness!
What's become? What's become of you?
He's gonna get a new haircut and change his name to Karen.
Cindy.
That's you look like a Cindy.
But for the 3 of us, we've got a microphone in our hand all day long, and we're trying to engage in the conversation. Like, it's really, you're trying to be present. You're trying to be there, like, have the conversation with the person,
Yes.
right? And to have to take yourself away from that to do pictures or whatever is hard. It's like we need someone that's dedicated to that. And I just don't know who that is.
That's also the issue is we just put out 1 episode a week. And events like that, we really, watered down wise, we have a lot of content. Like, we could stretch out whatever we have, probably at least 3 weeks. I would think we can get 3 weeks worth of stuff
Easily. But I don't, but
like an event like this, you kind of just want to offload.
we're going to dump it all.
Yeah.
It's going to be two. It's
But
going to be 2
I was going to
episodes.
say, like, the content is rich. I mean, this was like a cheesecake, cheesecake.
we could
weekend.
easily.
We ate the whole
rich,
cake.
rich baby.
There's a handful of conversations from this weekend that are long enough in length and big enough in name to be their own standalone episodes, right? But we're not. That it's all relevant to the Adventure
yes,
Expo.
yes,
You know what I mean?
yes. Oh, absolutely.
Each one of those people could have been their own standalone episode. But because it happened at the Expo and because it was relevant to this weekend, and it's timely,
everybody's all hopped up on White Claw.
A lot of White Claw. The White Claw was flowing, and
Everybody,
yeah,
inhibitions were whatever.
we're not going to talk about inhibitions. So what we'll do is we'll figure out some of the episodes, some of the interviews will be released on Thursday as the normal episode release. And then Saturday or Sunday, we'll release a second episode with the bonus material. And that's going to be, the bonus is going to be a combination of stuff in the booth and some of the stuff in the streets. And it might be a little bit timing wise. It might be mixed up. To the streets. There's a whole section of me karaokeing.
Oh, dude, yes.
We were doing karaoke.
You were getting after it. Jason with DeMello was doing the.
That's right. He was doing Miley Cyrus.
He was doing Miley Cyrus, and then the funniest thing, one of the things I'll remember most, is he did the. I said the golden child. I said I want the knife with the icon rim display because the wheels spun inside there. That was great,
and that would have been a great boomerang, like of someone doing that, right?
Just real quick, what year did that movie come out?
Oh, it was like 88 something, 87, 88. Yeah,
I
was
say,
3 years old.
I would say our junior, dude, Golden Child, great movie.
It is.
No, I've seen it, but.
That's all timer. I don't want to say I know that word for word, but we used to watch that all the time when I was a kid. Because my dad stole it from a video store. Well, I don't want to say he stole it, but the video store closed.
You said it went out of business.
Dude, what are you gonna do? You know,
when I went to buy my first house.
Oh, you had a credit?
I got dinged for a credit report because of a video store.
That's hilarious.
On videos I've never rented. Come to find out.
What were the titles of those videos?
No, his wife and my mom and dad were still using my video membership at the local video store.
Oh, wow.
That's
I'm like,
funny.
what do you mean I owe $200 for Goonies? Like, I don't even...
We're getting close to the point where people aren't going to know about Blockbuster or not.
Oh, that's a shame.
Or not understand like how exciting it was when every Friday, like you go to the new video section, like and see
the new releases.
Oh my God, Predator's out. Predator 2 is out.
No, you should have just stuck with Predator. The first one.
Predator 2 was
Predator 2 was all right.
Yeah, that's true. Whatever. You waited for a movie.
You didn't know until you rented it.
And then you put it in and you were like, oh, this sucks. Yeah, this is not nearly as good.
There's no reviews. There was no reviews at Blockbuster.
There's no reviews. And then so
you had to... I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, you would go watch a movie at the movie theater, and you're like, dude, it's going to be at least a year until until I get to watch it at home. And then like you forget about it, and then you see it at the video store, like, oh, dude, this movie's out.
Yeah.
Then you go to the counter at the video store,
and they're like, yeah, we don't have it.
Do you guys? Can you check the return thing to see? Because I really got to see. I don't know.
I remember.
I got to see Tombstone this weekend. Please,
I remember
maybe
calling
somebody turn it in.
The local one by the house. You could call. Be like, hey, can you put me on the wait list for when X movie comes back? So, yeah, they're all out. Okay, but put me on the wait list for that.
No, triple X movie.
So when it would come back, triple X with Vin Diesel, that was good.
Oh yeah.
When the movie would get returned, they'd call you and tell you it was there, and you'd run over and pick it up real quick.
Oh, so they'd call you? You could do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So back away from the 80s video rental, Any takeaway? Any takeaway from the weekend that's than more than what we just talked about?
Yeah, just for me, like I said, I was fanboying out the whole weekend. Like I would just keep looking at my watch. We got there so early on Saturday. Well, it was like 7:00. And I looked at my watch. It was like 3:00. I was like, I have no idea where 8 hours went.
Mm-hmm. They went right into that bottom of that White Claw.
I think,
that's true.
I think the time difference between Saturday and Sunday. Saturday seemed like a really, really long day.
Yes.
And it was like, it's only 3:00. We still got like 4 hours. Maybe it's because we were tired or something. I don't know. And then yesterday was like, snap your finger, it's over.
When they announced,
and it's like
when they announced, okay, vendors, you're ready to break down. I was all, what? I'm like, how? Oh my God, it's time to break down already?
Yeah. So that was interesting. I don't know. I wonder why that is. But I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I think before we can do what's coming up. It's Flagstaff.
Flagstaff has a big Overland Expo West.
I got to go into training. For that. That's gonna. I don't know if I'm going to make it out of there. I always say that. Like, is Matt going to make it out of this one?
Well, so just imagine this weekend, but times 10, because that's what it's going to be like.
I was talking to the event promoter. She said it's the biggest expo on the West Coast.
And how about, again, this is Rob online, Rose, and we had how many people came out?
Dude, that was awesome.
More and more often,
we got Omaha.
I got Omaha twice.
Yes.
Once when Matt was getting there, he was trying to find where the vendor parking was, and I was walking out to give him his badge.
I did not Omaha you.
I'm walking out to give him his badge, and this dude is on a beach cruiser, older dude, and his son is behind him, maybe 12, on his little BMX bike, and he sees me wearing the shirt, and he just yells, "Trailchasers, Omaha!" And I'm like, this is the greatest day ever.
That was awesome.
And then we had, I think, 2 other times at the booth.
While we're interviewing, they're like, excuse me, guys, I just want to say, love the show. Omaha.
Yeah. So we got Omaha a couple times. We had Josh Hop Hunter come out. Rose came out. Francis and his wife came out. I'm missing people. Who else came?
I forgot his name.
Josh came out, right?
Hop Hunter, yeah.
With what's the kid with the Jeep?
Oh, Sergio.
Oh, yeah.
Sergio.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio came out.
Yeah, he came out.
You're right. We had
at least a dozen.
And there was a lot of people that came over specifically to see us, and that was super cool. It was great to see them. And I think we might have convinced Rose to buy a Ranger.
I know, she was all about it.
Yeah. I think I convinced a lot of people to buy a Ranger this weekend.
A lot of people.
Don't do it, Rose. Do your own thing.
Okay, come on. All honesty, how many people were checking out the Ranger?
They were all about it.
There was a lot of people checking out the suspension, the wheels, the way it was set up. There was a lot of people checking out that
I don't
Ranger.
have to answer that question. I don't have to
Supposedly, people were interested in that.
Maybe they were looking at the trailer.
They were working at both. But
okay, there you go. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, my cruiser was parked on there on Sunday
Day 2.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to.
That's true.
You hear the story how we had to go get breakfast and then stop at the store, and then Jose drove in to drop the stuff off, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go move my truck," and I was like, "Why? It's already here. Just leave it." I will say that I would really publicly want to thank Jeremy and the Icon team. Those guys, we've said it since day one. They're just a joy to work with. They're fun to hang out with. They gave us an opportunity. They put us up right next to the trailer, right next to their setup, and helped coordinate a bunch of these conversations that you're going to hear on the show. And we couldn't be more appreciative than we are. I mean, it was a great weekend all the way around. And yet, when there was some downtime, in between things, I found that we were constantly back and forth with the Icon team, joking around, having a good time, having conversations with them.
Yeah, we're always engaged with one, talking to the Icon crew, or they were talking to us. But then someone else would come over, we start interviewing them, and then again we start talking to them.
Yeah, it's a good point, Jose. It wasn't like only Jeremy. It was Tyler and Scott and Brian and Adrian and Dylan and everybody. We were all having conversations with those guys, and they're all super fun to hang out with. And I'm hoping that they had a really good weekend. It sounds like they did, based on the amount of traffic that they had there and the conversations they were having. And I had a lot of people ask me about the suspension on the Ranger, and I was 100% honest with them. Told them how I felt about it, and hopefully that works to their favor. So. Anything else? I mean, we've gotten 40 minutes of an intro here, and like I said,
40 minutes, really?
42 minutes, yeah. And like I said, we've got 2.5 hours of content that I got to try to whittle down into 2 episodes. So we're gonna cut this one out. It's gonna be a short live show tonight, guys. But there'll be 2 episodes. We'll do a Thursday episode. Sorry, there'll be a Thursday.
All good stuff.
Yeah, both of them are going to be good. It's going to be a Thursday episode, and then depending on how long it takes me to edit the other piece of it, maybe this weekend. What do you think? Saturday, Sunday, Monday? What
I'd say drop it on
Friday,
Sunday morning coffee. No.
I don't know. I think you're going to subscribe, and you're going to get it anyhow, more than likely. So you'll have it Monday morning, maybe driving to work.
I'll drop it Sunday. Maybe I'll drop it Sunday, and if I'm done with it, I'll drop it Sunday, and then they can listen to it on the way to work Monday.
Yeah.
But then, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. And to everybody that came and sat down at the booth with us, or that put up with us sticking a microphone in their face out of their booth, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. It was a great experience for us, and we are super happy with the way the weekend went.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trailchasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott. So, the Matrix has been broken. We had some conversations with Lightning and Holman, and now they're sitting in the orange room, which is something I never thought I would say.
I feel dirty. Not gonna lie.
Is
there champagne in the orange room?
Well, we've got a casting trailer back here.
Casting trailer.
Now what? Hold on. Did you guys? It doesn't look like you got my rider. I wanted a bowl with just green M&Ms.
No, orange M&Ms.
Oh, it's
I
on
want
their
it.
way. It's on their way. It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I
he's
want
lying.
I want red roses.
I think the Trail Chasers podcast is a bunch of lying liars that lie.
That is an accurate statement, sir.
You're not
That
wrong,
is,
sir.
So, this is crazy. Like you guys came by, we started talking, and then now you're here in the booth. What's going on with you guys and the show here at the fairgrounds?
I think we're just roaming around talking to
randos,
people who make great parts.
Oh yeah, people
and
who
randos.
make people make good parts.
Randos.
I just thought we were going to talk to randos.
Good save, Lightning.
Sir, I like your shirt. Come over here. Let me talk to you real quick.
I need a friend. What's your Instagram?
I think what happens is that sometimes we forget about, or we're not aware of companies that make some really cool stuff, and it's not until you see them and go, "Oh wow, I forgot about this guy."
We should probably do something about that.
And so the nice thing about the show is you just walk up and start talking to them.
And we get, we talk about like social media and stuff, and it's all algorithmic, and you're getting curated feeds. So like we have a niche of people that we know their products. We talk to them all the time, but that doesn't mean there's not also other companies outside of that sphere that we haven't been exposed to yet.
Well, I mean, from apparel companies that are in the space, or guys that make shower curtains for off-roaders, weird
this
stuff.
event's kind of cool because being an employee of Four Wheeler and Motor Trend, we set
is
up,
that what you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
cool.
my day job.
Oh, cool.
My
Didn't
real
know
job.
that.
But what's cool is we didn't want this to be another off-road expo like you have in Pomona in fall. So we wanted it to be more about the lifestyle and the adventure. So instead of being all about the truck, we want this to be about the truck being a tool to get you to do the other things you like to do. And so it kind of separates us a little bit of a differentiator from some of the other shows out there. And I think we get a broader group of people because we're getting like the van guys, we're getting the overlanders,
the electric bike guys. There's
all
a
that
whole
stuff,
series of electric bikes
There was
in the
like a
room.
World War II era motorcycle with
there was
a
a sidecar.
Let's talk about that for a second. The electric bike guys, your Super 73, stuff like that, and I'm hoping to get them on the show. Well, they may not after this, but
wow, you're already.
Tell us how you feel.
You're already rejecting them.
they're really expensive, and are they that cool? I mean, electric bikes have been around forever. I mean, you guys have been
I'll
to
tell
the
you
beach
this.
using.
My buddy Travis does marketing for Giant, so he's always let me try the new Giant bikes. He gave me I crashed, messed up my
You wouldn't
shoulder.
know by his physique, would you?
No, well, that's what
it's
he said.
electric. He's not pedaling down.
Yeah, exactly.
So after I
You look like an electric mountain bike
I
rider.
severely messed up my shoulder crashing in Jackson Hole, and it took me a year before I could move my arm in all sorts of directions like this again. And so during that time, he's like, "Hey, I want to get you on an electric bike." And I'm like, "I earned my downhill. Electric bikes are dumb." And he's like, no, this is cool. It'll help your recovery. It'll help you get back on it. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll try it. And then it was like, this thing's kind of rad.
Yeah.
It's heavy, but
Well,
but
and I
rad.
can absolutely see them having a purpose, right? I mean, if you have a base camp like your truck with your rooftop tent, and then you want to go explore the area, and you've got an X mile radius or X hours of battery
I was
life.
getting between 25 and 50 miles depending on the setting.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was awesome. And so,
Man, I'm getting range anxiety just thinking about it.
Well, again,
why would you be 50 miles from your campsite, though, right?
That's how I roll, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
How many
I take
solar
100-mile
panels do you need
hikes.
to recharge that battery?
you just put them on your back.
You have a backpack of
It's
solar
cool.
panels.
So what's cool about it, people realize you put a
umbrella.
backpack on, you put a bunch of solar panels on, you plug it into your bike while you're riding, you can actually fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or how about they make an electric bike with pedals? So you pedal to generate the electricity to charge the battery.
I think you're talking about a
motion
freaking
machine.
moped.
I don't think that happened. No, I don't think that.
And since you're flying, you're
A
closer to the
perpetual motion
sun.
machine?
Yeah, I don't think
it's
that's
charging faster.
Didn't Newton or Einstein or somebody smart say that was impossible?
All right, so wait a minute. Rewind.
Okay.
Is it a fad, or is this are we looking at the cusp of something bigger and better and great with these off-road electric bikes? To me, it's very faddish.
I think it really depends on price point. I think it's going to depend on
$1,500.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like for me, that's not for me.
$1,500 is not unreasonable for a nice bike. A decent mountain bike, $3,000 to $5,000.
Your average person, hold on,
a really good one, $10,000.
Your average person doesn't have a really nice mountain bike. They got one.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, in the marketplace, $1,500 isn't as scary a number as you think it is.
Oh yeah, there people will spend $5,000 on mountain bikes. I mean that they have to pedal. If they can get this without pedaling, maybe it's a.
And here's the other thing you got to realize: there's a lot of people who are disabled or handicapped or older who may not have the stamina. Who
he's
still
sitting right
want
next
to
to me.
He's talking about me.
But
yours too.
That's not who's going after a Super 73.
Co-host swap at some point.
I think maybe.
Trade one broken one for another broken one.
Yeah.
Except we'll get the two good guys with the.
Don't point at me. I'm the broken one.
Wait. We have two good guys?
No, I mean, out of us four, there's got to be
There's
two.
gotta be at least one.
Out of the four, we've got about a half.
Yeah,
Dude, wouldn't that be a great crossover episode? Co-host swap.
I don't think so.
No?
They
You're
never
not
go
on
well.
board?
No.
You'd be like, who's that other guy talking on the Truck Show podcast?
Turn on the show with Jay
got the
and
wrong-
some
yeah.
rando, and we don't want to listen. There's the lowest episode rating they've ever had.
Oh my God, that would be so good for April Fools.
Oh, nice.
Swap shows.
Swap shows, April
Hey, I gotta
Fools.
admit, dude, you guys got me on the April Fools.
Yes!
I got because I was like, dude, what the hell's going on
That
with the
was
recording?
one of our finest accomplishments in the 2 years
So
we've been doing this.
Take me through the experience. So
Yeah, so the episode dropped. I'm like, cool. I'm
On April 1st.
On April 1st.
Last year.
And you guys were like, you guys won't believe it. We have this breaking news. And it's just like, shh.
The truck you didn't see coming.
And then it's just like, shh. I'm like, well, maybe, it happens. There's some recordings that have corrupt files or whatever. I just kept forwarding it. I'm like, oh, f***ers got me.
Did you download in like 12 different places like most people?
No,
Did you-
no.
I go back to the
We
website.
had people who were like, I was banging on my dash. I like kicked my radio.
we got a
I
lot of
yelled at
extra
my
downloads
kid.
that day.
I was laughing hard. Like when I was
Now,
like, oh, I can't believe they got me.
Did you get to the Easter egg in the middle?
No, I just kept skipping like forward.
30
I was trying to get to the part where it worked, and I'm like, it's not gonna work.
So at the very, very end of the episode, there's silence, and then at the very end, it's just us laughing.
And we did have an Easter egg. And we actually had people email us go, I got the Easter egg. You're like, why? What is wrong with your life? You're not living the best you if you have time to go through a 2.5 hour
Yeah, dude, it
episode
was-
to
yeah.
find 15 seconds of audio.
That's hilarious. We do. We'll put like
I'll take your
random
download,
outtakes.
but I'm going to judge you.
We put random outtakes at the end of the credits and everything on the show every once in a while, and I bet only 2% of the people actually ever hear it,
Sure.
and it's probably the best part of the episode.
and that's us just listening to our
yeah,
own
because we
show.
think it's hilarious.
But at least five a show are me.
What I know you guys have got a lot going on. I mean, with Motor Trend and all the stuff that you're working on in Banks. Like, what's next? What's next for the trail truck show?
whoa.
Well, I don't know. You tell us.
What's-
Freudian slip.
Oh, I'll tell you.
It's the Truck Tracers.
Truck Chasers. Say that 10 times fast.
Truck Chasers.
The Truck Chaser show.
657-205-6105. That's the 5-star hotline. If you can say the Truck Chasers podcast 10 times, we'll send you a sticker.
No, hold on.
Oh,
But
wow.
wait a minute. You
Oh,
just
wait,
said that on
wait.
their. Wait, Holman.
Wait.
You just said that on their podcast.
I know. I'm trying to get the
I don't care.
listeners.
I don't care.
Okay.
Hold on.
657
Please hold.
205
At Truck Show Podcast?
Yeah.
What are you
Hold
doing?
on,
here?
I'm gonna get a free beer right now.
Oh,
The crow squawks when the turtle turns his head at midnight.
I got you.
I got you.
Right here. I would enjoy buying your beer.
That is funny. Although you just told everybody. Oh,
You're not gonna remember that.
Yeah, there's
dude.
nobody here. There's nobody here listening to us.
Oh no, dude! What do you mean? The guy just came up, and got a free shirt.
Yeah, he did come up and he's
Wait. He got one of those extremely rare Truck Show podcast shirts.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're not rare in my garage. They're just rare out in the outside world.
There's
Are they,
boxes.
are they literally all sitting in your garage in a box?
They were. Now they're sitting on the station box.
Oh, okay.
We're now down to one box. We had two. And so maybe my wife can get her car in the garage now. So it was a win-win for all of us.
There were so many listeners that have been disappointed over the last couple of years just not getting shirts. Like, hey, here's my email. Thanks for reading it. I'm a size large. And we're like, no, not sending it.
Not so much?
No, we're too lazy.
You know what? It's fun. I have clearly not the same number of requests, but every once in a while I'm like, yeah, I'll send those out. And then one day I'll be sitting there going, damn it, I've got like 4 swag packs to send out. Go to UPS and spend $100 to get them all out. It's
We
ridiculous.
had a guy who he emailed us and said, I started listening to the show a month ago, and I've listened to all 112 episodes.
Oh,
on
That's
Spotify."
the crazy thing.
And you're going, holy crap, right? But what was funny is he goes, you know how much you guys promise things and let people down?
Like, have you been talking to my wife?
That's the crux of the show. That is the.
That's it. Try being our wives.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do, sir. That's
Yeah, well, we are known for that, and why would we change who we are? You do you, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
You do you. I'll do me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What? So when it comes to the show, what kind of things are you excited about? You guys got new big guests coming up, or
We just had a great episode with Brian Loans.
Yes.
So if you know who Brian Loans is, think Hot Rod Power Tour, Diesel Power
Yeah,
Challenge, NHRA on Fox Sports. He's a friend of ours. Started Bank Shift with David Freiberger back in the day. Great automotive historian. Loves storytelling. He's one of our favorites, and we finally had a chance to get him on.
Are you familiar with Heavy D of
I am.
Diesel Brothers?
Yes,
So
yes.
we had spent an episode with him.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's talking about the electric truck, right?
new Badger, yeah.
He is deeply involved in the hydrogen powered
Fuel
truck
cell.
company.
Yep.
What are they called again?
Nikola.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
I will ask the same question you asked about the bikes. Is the electric
Is it-
adventure truck
Is it going to be
fad?
a thing?
Yes.
Or a thing? Is it
I
gonna
think it's
be-
more of a fad than the
Yep.
bike is until there's infrastructure and battery density.
So those
are the two things.
We did a full episode, and those are the things that came up. Was infrastructure. You buy one of these. What happens if you break down,
Look
or
at
where you
Bollinger.
go?
Bollinger,
Yes.
badass machine, right?
Yes.
But it only has a 230 or so
yes.
mile
200 mile
Yes.
range.
I can't get to where I want to be in the desert short
Yes.
of 200 miles. What do I
Yes.
do when I get out there?
Exactly.
So it's not going to fill my needs. I still need something that's going to go further.
But the Rivian's got 500 to 600 mile range.
Yeah, but if you're in 4 low crawling,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
running all your accessories and your air conditioning.
Yeah, by the
and-
time you overload
Right.
it,
what's it going to end up being?
yeah.
You're charging your e-bike in the bed, all that kind of stuff.
There's definitely a lot of first world problems in that. That's
Yeah. We're not ready. We're early. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen or it won't work out, but we're early.
Yeah.
At least in the truck and off road market.
And I think
sure.
someone in the electric truck world needs to do the math to say to the potential truck buyer, if you bought this standard Chevy Silverado, over the life, the cost of ownership with maintenance and brakes and oil changes and whatever is X amount of dollars, versus if you buy this electric vehicle
pay
that
for
has,
it up front, essentially.
that has literally no maintenance for X amount of years, it's the same amount of money. Because right now, people say I can buy the Silverado for 45, 50 grand.
Yep.
I'm not going to buy an $80,000 electric truck.
For sure.
But if that $80,000 over the course of 7 years of ownership is the same amount, maybe that would sway some people.
I don't know. Why are we assuming that there's no maintenance in an electric vehicle?
I don't know that there is.
Well,
I'm saying whatever that.
So there's not oil changes and things.
Yes.
Although if
There aren't?
if they're water cooled,
What?
there's actually fluid. There are fluid changes though.
Oh, really?
Differentials, depending on if you have a water cooled system.
the
to keep
headlight
all the
fluid
batteries.
goes out all the
Oh,
time.
it's blinker fluid. Blinker fluid.
Blinker
They
fluid
always
goes
sell
out.
out. They're always sold out. I was on
But
when
I found
go.
the commuter bearing is so much more problematic. And so,
Jose had to pack his commuter bearing just the other day on that Land
hey,
Cruiser.
by the way, packing your commuter bearing opening up at Coachella. I hear on the
Wait a
next day.
minute.
on the sideshow.
I rented that movie.
Did you?
Yeah.
And your wife was like, "What is this? The kids are still awake."
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we got it on. It was good.
But when you got it on, it was squeaky though, wasn't it?
It was.
Until you packed it with the right amount of lube and grease and stuff.
Blinker lube.
But I was surprised that they ended the film with a little person because I wasn't. I didn't see that coming.
See that coming?
No.
By the way, that's-
No.
Neither did
That's-
she.
no.
See that coming.
Oh, jeez.
Well, sorry for your corporate sponsors. Glad this is on your show.
There you
not
go.
ours.
Hey, tip your waitress.
Our corporate sponsors have been fantastic about the understanding. Look, you know what you got yourself
Yeah,
into.
yeah, I know.
If you
We've been
listen
pretty
to the
good.
show, you
Shame on
know what
them.
you got yourself
We
into.
self-police. We've only been told a couple times, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And that came from our HR and not from our sponsor.
Yeah.
The only time that we really got in trouble with our main sponsor was when we put a naked man on meth video on our Instagram, and somebody complained because we were outside of our crappy first Santa Ana, California studio, and this dude was all high and he was naked running around and doing like parkour where they're doing flips and stuff.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
and he was
yes.
doing. So we posted it like, hey, like naked man on meth. Turns out not great for corporate citizenship. Right there.
I have been asked to dial back the use of "That's What She Said."
Oh, really?
That hurt.
That was
Really?
after
That's-
he used it literally about 27 times in a row in one episode. And it
but
was
I mean,
like,
you it's obligatory. You have to. That's what these shit.
He shakes. He has sweats. He shakes.
Yes.
I cannot do it. That's what it is.
Not B12.
I pot my mic down and to myself I go, that's what she's on. Turn it back up.
You know how like at work when you're really mad at somebody,
Yes.
so you write out the angry email and you feel better,
delete
so you
it.
delete it.
Yep, yep.
That's what he does. Right?
He's got a notepad, like
Yeah.
one of those psychos with a notepad. That's like, that's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said.
He's like, excuse me, I gotta use the bathroom. We're right there. He just starts yelling.
We had when we had interviewed Jeremy from Icon after the KOH thing.
Calling Jeremy from Icon.
We had some conversation. There was a segment in there that was pretty racy, and I actually called Jeremy and said, "Okay, now that you're the sponsor of the show, are you comfortable with this?" And he's like, "No one's gonna censor us." He's like, and so we let it roll.
No one's going to hear this, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
That's true too.
Hey, Jeremy, when you're ready to step up to a clean podcast, you come let us know.
We just got poached right now. Oh man! But you don't know what I had to do to get this sponsorship.
Well,
I
and I
had
don't
to
wanna
give it all
know
the
you did.
beans. I had
Or
to
maybe you
give-
do. I don't know.
You're still bleeding?
Yes. Well, there's some pictures on our Instagram of my brother in the trailer right after Jeremy stepped out of the
By
trailer.
the way,
so you
the
can
worst
see-
starting sentence to any story.
There's some pictures.
I'm just saying.
All I'm saying is I am not for sale except from our podcast sponsors. So
Everybody has a price. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
my price.
$20 is $20.
Hey,
Well, I'm
20 bucks
proud
will get you a beer here at the OC Fair and Event
Just one
Center.
though.
Holman, I'm proud to be part of their worst episode
Episode
yet.
ever? Yeah.
Yes.
You know what's awesome? You and I are always a part of our worst episode. Oh yeah. We're it the whole time.
That's-
We're the worst all the time. No matter where
we're
we
pretty
go.
good at wrecking it ourselves.
Yeah,
there's been episodes where we've had recordings that are like 10, 15 minutes long, and then I've just stopped and gone, nope, we're not playing that. We
we've done that.
cannot.
Yeah.
We would be
had-
destroyed if we put that
so
out
we
there.
obviously have very busy day jobs.
Yeah.
We do this in like our free time in the evenings and weekends, whatever.
I'm not boastful.
And there's times where he misses like something major, and we've like, oh, it's got to be good, right? And then they put it up, and then we have a listener like, hey guys, you might have, I think you put the wrong file up. Yeah, can you tell us what the timestamp on that is? Get that
we
fixed
had
right away.
one. We went down a rant of like 15, 20 minutes of conspiracy theories and political opinions, and I went, just nope, absolutely not. We're not
a bad idea.
Yes, we're not putting that out there. Every once in a while,
So like one of these, oh, the coronavirus, huh? Election year, go figure.
yeah. and Matt and Jose.
Wash your hands, people. You'll be fine.
Matt and Jose really like go off the rails on that stuff. So every once in a while, they'll get microphones without me, and I can't be there to police them. And that's probably
That's when the real show starts.
yeah.
That's the magic of editing when you go back and clip it all out after the fact.
They leave that to me. So
The problem is for me, it's all water under the bridge. I'd never go back.
Yeah.
So whatever happened back then, I don't remember.
It is
I'm
what
like,
it is.
did we say that?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, sorry.
like I said, we've only had a few angry emails, and I think percentage-wise, that's not bad. I'll take it.
All right. I like it.
Any press is good press? Not well,
Sometimes.
if you're Madonna.
Yeah.
But,
Jump in that trailer. We'll test that theory.
Hey, those sheets are stained.
those aren't even sheets.
It's a protective film.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sheep. Sorry, I thought you said sheets.
Whatever, it works. It's a
protective film.
$20
It's all right.
$20.
All right.
Well, cool, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is awesome.
We'll look forward to not having this segment on your podcast.
we're not playing this.
Yeah, it might
we're not
make
even
the
playing
bedroom
this at
full.
all.
I don't know yet.
But
By the way, Icon actually they had customers giving their kits back during this segment. They came in. I saw them in the parking lot. Said, "I can't believe you're associated with that. We want you to have your kit back."
no, dude,
All of
I'll
a
tell
sudden,
you,
we have a surplus here.
I'll drive home on wooden blocks.
No, I'm Icon through and through. After what they did
Yeah.
to that Ranger, I'm absolutely happy with it.
It's pretty sick.
I'm happy with my
like it.
Ranger, man.
Yeah.
We'll see if it makes it home.
Well, talk to us about it. We can't. This is audio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
that's right.
hold on. This is their podcast.
Yeah.
So they already know
Oh,
about
they already
it.
know.
Yeah,
I thought it was my podcast.
I know. We need to switch microphones.
I'm going to hand the microphone back. I'm going to end this now.
All right. The only thing I don't like about those is it has the dashboard out of a Focus. Like it's definitely not truck enough.
It's definitely more ergonomic,
Yeah.
but now this has become my daily. Like for the longest time, I had a work truck that was my daily, and then my truck was my off road thing. This is now my daily. I'm driving all over Southern California, so I wanted some comfort with the
What's your
Icon.
day job? What are you doing?
I'm a sales guy, HVAC
Okay.
sales guy.
Okay.
For residential?
No, commercial.
Oh, bummer.
But if you
see at my house.
But if you need it, I'll get you taken care
All
of.
right. I like that.
And then with the Icon kit and the Nexen wheels, it's super cush, and I love the way it drives off on the road.
Hey.
We went out to King of Hammers.
Choose your words wisely. Jeremy's right here.
Jeremy's right here. He's looking over his shoulder.
He has mirrored sunglasses, so you don't know right where he's looking.
We got it out to Hammers and adjusted the suspension. I was able to hit whoops at 45, 50 miles an hour in a production
Which is all you want out of the truck that's your daily driving.
Absolutely.
You know, like you could go harder, but
it was really, really surprising. And that 2.3 liter turbo,
it was an awesome engine.
It is
10-speed automatic, awesome.
With the 10-speed, it's never looking for a gear. It knows right where to be at all times. Even with the lift, you change the wheel size, it just automatically adjusts. And then with the terrain management, you put it in sand mode, sport mode, and sand.
Yeah. But that's for people who don't know how to drive.
No. I'm just saying, like,
So I have a 94 Land Cruiser.
No, it does.
Oh,
the shifts and it lets it ring it out. Yeah, for sure.
I was
It'll do
blowing
gnarly
through the
burnouts.
sand. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with that truck. I didn't think I was going to be a Ford guy, but I kind of bit the bullet and did it, and I'm happy.
Hey,
I
Lightning,
did.
did you hear what just happened there?
What?
Cody's going for a Ford sponsorship. That's what I heard.
Oh, is that
Hey,
what?
that was
Ford, hit me up. It's Cody at Trailchasers.net.
Well, why did you decide on this?
I changed jobs. I had
So
I had a
Icon wanted a test vehicle. They needed a mule.
So we did a ride and drive with Icon at the Jeremy McGrath Ranch in August of last year. They had a Rangers, one stock.
You just
one
dropping
Icon.
names now?
I am.
Yeah.
So, we interviewed Jeremy.
trying to flex right now.
He's
Trying to
our
He's
guy.
no heavy deer Brian Loans or Mike Finnegan or David Freiberger or Aaron Kaufman, but I mean, if you
Hey,
know, that's
look,
cool.
Look,
That's
we have
cool.
to use the one or two names that we have.
Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy from Icon. So we did a ride and drive with the Ranger, and I was really impressed with it then. And I didn't think I was. Again, I was never much of a Ford guy because all of my work trucks were always Ford, and they, you don't take care of them. They're overloaded. They're work trucks. You don't think much of them.
Real quick, he's coming from a 2013 Tacoma.
Yeah. So changed jobs. Needed a daily. The Icon
Wanted a fully boxed frame.
the Icon sponsorship was happening, and it was one of those things where, like, okay, my 2013 is great. It's got 95,000 miles on it. Do I want to put that suspension on there? It's a new daily driver. Nobody we knew had the Ranger. I thought it'd be great show content, and my wife doesn't like the fact that I make life decisions based on show content, but that's the route we went, and I'm not unhappy.
I mean, I met your wife. She's pretty awesome, but I'm thinking you might need a new one.
No, dude, I'm telling you, having a podcast or being on the radio, anything you do in life is show content.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't matter if you get arrested. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know,
I got a ticket going out to Arizona. We talked about it for 10 minutes.
doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dumbest crap is all show content.
Well, because the dumbest crap, I think, is the relatable crap. It's the mundane stuff that everybody has to go through, right?
Yes.
Those decisions.
Yeah, you bought a Ford.
Well, by the way, you're talking to a guy that once ran around a 7-Eleven in a pumpkin, right?
With
Or underwear.
Look,
Well, no, I did wear a hollowed out pumpkin on my loins.
yes, yes,
And nothing else.
And
I did
I'm sure there's a lot of that stuff that's been blocked from his memory from those days.
There's a small
He does
pumpkin.
have PTSD from the old radio days.
I know. I listened to when those were happening. I know what he had to do.
You know how long it took me to be able to go up and just massage his shoulders and calm him down? He was very sensitive at first.
Can I
and
ask why? Can I
because we
ask-
had to get through the show.
Can I ask why you needed to be behind
I
him
don't
massaging
recall
his
that.
shoulders?
I have blocked that out.
I'm just trying to be a good friend. Just trying to be
Why
a
are your
good friend.
clothes off?
All of a sudden, Jeremy's now jealous that he's not getting
And
massages.
interested finally in the podcast, by the way.
Apparently now I didn't know there was specific requirements. Shoulder rubs are a thing. Okay, I'm good. Matt will be here any minute now. I'll put him right
Get
on
his
that.
shoulder rubs. Aren't we talking trucks and
I don't
jeeps
know,
over
seems
here?
weird.
Hey,
It's really a shame that Matt's not here.
I know. Matt's going to be super bummed.
podcast. That's all.
Dude, you can't tank it when it's already at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yes, you can. Oh yes, you can.
No, it's a shame. Our other buddy here, Matt, he drives a Frontier.
Okay,
and he
well-
wheels the crap out of that thing.
Yeah.
He drives it like he stole it, and that's his everyday truck.
Yes.
Did he steal it?
No.
Okay, I'm just checking.
No.
He,
because
he
never
got
know.
it. He bought it in 2018 when he was looking for it. I'm sorry, 2019 when he was looking for it. He bought a 2018. We looked at the Tacomas and a bunch of other stuff, but for a Frontier
more
Pro
value.
4X,
Oh, yeah.
$24,000 versus the 34 it would have been. Same thing.
Not
with
only
this.
that, Frontier fully boxed frame.
Yep.
and
Dana
nothing
44
hangs down
rear.
below the frame
Yes.
rails.
And
And
it-
super stout.
Yes.
Fit 31 stock.
Yep.
Rear locker.
Rear locker.
So
It's a
we're,
great truck.
we're
It's
told
such-
we're told that it's going to have some Icon suspension on it soon, but I mean I don't know
Yeah, I
if
don't
that's
know.
actually going to happen.
Icon has done some stuff with our friends over at
Yes,
Nissan lately.
yes,
So
yes.
I would imagine that's not going to end anytime soon.
Oh no, I hope
I may
not.
have seen some things I can't talk about too. So
That was those were in the bedroom.
Hey, real quick,
that goes back to that massage.
Yeah.
real quick, knowing what you guys know, right? Being on the inside, how do you guys? Is it hard to walk that line when you guys are doing the show? Like,
Is it
you guys
hard,
wanna-
Lightning?
You guys want to say?
I don't know anything about anything. And for Holman, who does know something about something, I just play an embargoed sound effect all the time when he can't talk about it. And no, it's super annoying.
Hey, so what's your?
And here's the real story is that it's really annoying if you want to be serious.
Yeah.
Because I know that we could get huge numbers and get publicity, but he's bound to a freaking NDA.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to wreck a relationship.
So he
for
doesn't
one
want to.
payoff.
And at some point, there will be Cybertruck-esque news that I will push him to break on our show, and he won't, and then I'll quit.
Yeah.
Hey, what are your thoughts on?
Let's ruin the show over Cybertruck. Way to go.
What are your thoughts on that 7-speed manual that's coming in the Bronco?
Interesting question you have there. Super interesting.
Embargo.
It has a crawler gear. It has a crawler gear,
I was
right?
going to say, I think first gear is probably going to be lower than necessary.
Okay.
There was recently.
How about this? My JL, okay, got a brand new JL, got a 2020 with a stick. 'cause
Yep.
Stick.
You're
First gear's like
man.
518 in that, right?
Okay.
And so with 488s, 4-to-1 TKs, and that gear ratio, it ends up being from the factory. I think it's 84-to-1, but when you do the re-gear to 488s, it's 101-to-1.
Okay.
With just a re-gear. If you have a 7, and that'll go 1.45 or 5 miles per hour crawling.
Right.
Do you really need something that's in the 7s?
Yes.
Depends on what you're doing, I guess.
I guess. I mean, it just seems like for most people, like I would use first every day.
Yeah.
You go much lower than that, first is pretty useless. So you're second through, like an old, straight six, like mid 60s bump side welder truck or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Of course, that's only going off of information I've heard
Yes,
on the internet.
on the interwebs.
Well, I was just gonna say there was the Bronco forum. One of the forums posted actual pictures.
Yeah, did you see the follow up to that where Ford said remove these immediately?
Yes.
Why would they do that if it's not real news?
No, they were actual pictures.
There were actual pictures of that
and-
on private property in a factory, and not really allowed to do that.
that was bad stuff
Yeah.
right there.
I'm sure you got a nice letter in the mail. some
Somebody-
random guy
Yeah,
was standing in
cease
front
and
of his house. Are you so and so? Yes, here.
Yeah, exactly.
Ford will come to your house with dudes in suits with crowbars, and they will break you right at the kneecaps.
Oh, I
That's
can
why I
believe that.
hobble when I walk. My knees pop. It's not old age; as I've been beat so many times.
I can absolutely believe that. I think going back to your question, I think that's a line you have to walk when you're in the industry. When Jeremy's in the industry, we have conversations. He's things that he can't talk about until it comes out.
It would happen all the time. We'd go and interview a band or at the radio station, or we'd listen to an album months before it was supposed to come out, and we couldn't say squat about it.
Yeah.
And it'd be painful. You're like, we're sitting on the next big, album,
Yeah.
and you couldn't say anything. And it's a pain because you knew that you're sitting on an embargo, and your story, your review of that album has to go up at the same time as Rolling Stone or Consequence of Sound or anybody else. So you're going to get the same web
Way to
traffic.
name drop lightning.
Yeah, exactly. Your story is going to go up at the same time. You're not going to get any special treatment by the public because you're not first.
Yeah.
And yet you were sitting on. So for me, it's painful. He's used to it, but I'm like, I know we got to come out with this info.
Well, see, the fortunate part for us is nobody tells us anything. We don't know anybody that knows anything
So
about
you
anything.
just live in bliss.
Yeah, absolutely. Ignorance is our lifestyle. Like look, did you hear that? No, I didn't. And we do no research for the show, and we
we don't either.
No, not much.
We have our laptops open. This is why this sucks so bad, is we don't have our laptops open right now to
we
come up
can't
with things to talk
fact
about.
check.
So I will just say, if we're big fans of the Trail Chaser podcast, and I know that we have some crossover. So Apple tells you who listens to your podcast.
Oh, nice.
Right, and so you guys are connected to ours, obviously, and whatnot. I will say there's some really cool stories.
Are we cousins? What are we? Are we brothers or
we're
we cousins?
We're like second or third cousins, like the one
Okay.
that has the
So-
weird eye that only comes to like every other Thanksgiving.
So if we met at a
kind of
question,
looks off over here.
Now, which one has the peg leg? That we're like, ooh, that's weird.
Me,
Don't
I
want
have
to-
that's
Is it
absolutely me.
100%?
But is it a peg leg, or is he just messed up enough he made that story up and nobody can verify
No,
it?
here's the weird part. Is that-
literally 2 surgically repaired Achilles.
Oh, that's definitely you then.
What's weirder is that he has a wooden leg and a real foot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
not my
technology
foot.
these days.
It's not my
Science.
foot.
It's science.
So being third cousins, if we met at like a family reunion, could we date?
Nope.
No. He's
Nope.
like, Come on, you didn't let me finish.
Nope. I can't.
No,
you can't.
because that's how you get a baby like Holman.
You don't want a baby like me. You don't want a baby like me. All right, I will say that we have some interesting off-road content on our show. So if you haven't listened to it, our 10th episode, our 10th one,
Yeah.
we talked about the history of the Raptor, which a lot of people don't know. And I take credit for saving the Raptor. So listen to that episode.
Good job,
It's
sir.
a good story. If you're a Raptor fan out there, there's some insider baseball on that. I think people would appreciate.
I'm not gonna lie, we're a little hateful towards the Ford brand here.
You are.
I
You
am.
and Matt are
Me
hateful
and Matt,
towards the Ford
the
brand.
opinions of the Trailchaser podcast.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, Matt and Jose. When this was happening, they were against it the whole time. When I was looking at buying my truck, and now that I'm like blowing by them on the trail all the time, that's why they're angry.
Well, let's be honest. It took an Icon kit to make that happen.
Oh, absolutely,
And a different driver.
100%.
Or
I
at
just
least that Android driver with the knob.
yeah.
Help me go on rocks.
Yeah.
I just had bad experience with Ford. That's the reason why.
You know, it's funny. When I started in this industry 20 years ago, I was a Ford guy, and I went to the magazines and realized, wow, I'm really missing out on a lot of cool stuff. and so I'm pretty much brand agnostic now. I'm a big fan of
That's the thing,
Jeep.
like-
I'm a big fan of Nissan.
Yeah.
Ford's got some great stuff. And I'll be critical where I need to be critical of brands, but the reality is everybody's making really good stuff.
That's
It's
the
just
thing.
what
The
fits
bar,
you.
the bar set so high now. Like
Yeah.
everybody's.
You can't
making
really
great-
buy a bad truck.
No,
Exactly.
no, and
my mind about the JL and the Gladiators.
Yeah.
I've never been a Jeep guy, quote unquote Jeep
Yeah.
guy. Never really done anything for me. Even with a JK, we had to fight tooth and nail to get any sort of real performance out of them. And the JL came around and just kind of opened my eyes.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
drive the piss out of that thing, drive it like a truck.
No,
And then the
it's awesome.
Gladiators come out and people have to pry me out of that thing. Like
Yeah.
you gotta fight
Well,
me. If
it's
you want
our,
an Icon,
four-wheeler
you wanna drive
pickup
the
truck of the year.
Gladiator, You're going through
Yeah.
me.
And our Wrangler was our SUV of the year last year, and the EcoDiesel got it again this year. And, Jeep's doing some really great things. I had an opportunity where I was kind of consulted with them 2 years early before anybody saw it, had a chance to go in. Name drop. Yep. So if you guys look, there's a lot of people don't know this. Maybe by now they do. There's a pair of flip-flops that are on the cowl. So if you look at the cowl.
Was that you?
No,
Not
it's
him.
No, for Payway, but my friend Mark Allen, who's the head designer of Jeep, said, "What if I put a fat bearded guy somewhere in there?" I'm like, thanks.
is that why the Sasquatch is on some of those? There's that Sasquatch on the windshield.
That's why I only got on the Renegade and not the actual Wrangler.
The whole now we know the Sasquatch is actually Holman on the
it's just
Renegade.
Going back to how the Jeep engineers and product planners, those guys listen, we came back with a list of about 30 things to change or update or needed to be better for JL, and they did about 25 of them, and there's still a few left on the list that they're still working on.
Wow,
and
that's
it's really cool to be able to go in there and have some say and make the product better for everybody else.
Absolutely, and we joke around about the Ford. I drove Jeeps for 20 years. We're very much like, buy something with a transfer case, go find dirt. It doesn't matter what you drive. We have people that wheel with us that have all kinds of different vehicles. For us, it's about just getting out and doing the adventure. Like, let's go have fun. And we make the joke, like, if you're driving a Toyota and you brake or you can't make an obstacle, we're going to make fun of you for 10 minutes, but then we'll get over it and move on. So,
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I don't really. I love my Ford, but I don't know that I'm like a diehard Ford guy from now on because, maybe in 2 years, I'm a guy that
Well, that
changes
Ford
vehicles
tattoo, tells a different
every
story.
3 years. I'm constantly changing vehicles. So the next one might be a Jeep again. I don't know.
Well, Jeremy told me behind the scenes that you only get a free lift kit every 3 years. So there's going to be a period of you
right,
got to
so,
temper your
I'm gonna put
tempo
I'm
there.
gonna put a clock, a countdown timer in the studio so I can know when I can get a new vehicle.
You guys have a studio?
We have a spare bedroom in my house.
see, okay.
Yes. we
We had an ant farm that we called the studio for a while.
We
Yeah.
have a casting
It's true.
couch, by the
We
way.
do have a casting
Yeah, we
couch.
do have an orange casting
have an orange
couch. We
casting
got
couch.
the desk set up. We've convinced
Now,
a couple
is it
people
because it used to be white, but when you went to get all the blood stains out, it just sort of settled
Yeah,
as
just
orange?
ordered
kind of
the
bled
orange,
over,
yes.
Just checking.
Yes, the bloodstains is a good way to put it. But no, we
Well, when your dog gives birth to lots of puppies, you got to put them somewhere, right? So why not the couch?
not in my studio. But thank you guys for coming to the event. I mean, hanging out with us. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys didn't have to do this. This is super cool. We enjoy it. We listen to the show as well, and I'd be willing to bet that every single one of our listeners also listens to your show. Because like
they
you said,
probably more of their listeners don't listen to
that's
our
what I'm
show.
saying. That's what I'm saying. The reverse is not also the not
Well,
also
you're,
true.
you're assuming that we have more than you guys.
If it's
do.
more than 12,
I almost
we,
guarantee.
we had 13, but that's only because my kid listens.
yeah. The other day we did a Facebook Live and my mom joined and we're like, sweet, all of our listeners
Our
are on.
Facebook.
So, funny story about moms listening to podcasts. My mom was used to be an HR rep for Boeing. And
Oh,
all those.
no.
And she goes, I've been listening to the podcast, and
You know how much trouble do you get in?
I cringe at a lot of things you guys say. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, mom.
She's
you
like,
should not.
Lightning needs to chill it on that. That's what she said.
And I tell Lightning, no, really, my mom. That's what she said. Thank you. Good night. All right, we'll be here all day. Thank you, guys.
We are in the Orange Room at the Adventure Expo, Four-Wheeler Magazine Adventure Expo with Brad
Good
from
job.
Trail Recon. I got it right this time.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man.
Good. First things first, your son came home yesterday.
Yeah.
How was that?
Super excited. So he's been in Japan for the last 2 years.
Wow.
And he's in the military, and so now he's going to be stationed out here in California, which is really exciting because Trail Recon all started with him in the back of the Jeep on his iPhone.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew you had said you were going to be spending the day with him on Saturday, so that's cool. Congratulations that he's home.
Yeah.
Is he going to be close to you, stationed close to you?
Yep. So he'll be just about 45 minutes away, and he's already sent me a bunch of pictures and bugging me about when we're going shopping
ready
for
to
the
go.
Jeep. He's like, "Where's the Jeep? When are we going Jeep shopping?" Dad?"
I have a 2013 Toyota Tacoma. I'll sell cheap, super cheap. No, like I'm giving you guys for a good deal. I'm saying.
Never off road.
Never been off road. Yeah,
like new.
No, yeah, it's great. And then if just in case something's wrong with your Jeep, you should have him get the Ford Ranger.
He's got his heart set on a 2-door little Jeep.
He's
so
young. He doesn't know better. It's fine.
I raised him all right.
So you've been hanging out the Milestar booth this week, yesterday?
Just pretty much today.
Just today?
Really, we were just trying to walk around and check out the show. So we've been in and out a little bit, but pretty cool event. Better and bigger than I expected it to be.
100%.
Yeah.
I even was talking to the event organizer, and she was like, "Yes, this has gone exactly the way we wanted it to go." I was talking. Jeremy was saying that as you're walking around, you go every 5 feet, and someone stops you to ask a question. Have you gotten used to that yet?
Marco and I were just having that conversation. We're like, dude, it's just, people want to take selfies, and it's awesome. I love to be able to do that for people, but it's still just surreal.
Is it mostly just selfies, or what are the questions? Like, specifically, is there a general, overwhelming question?
There's not a general question. People come up from all aspects, and whether it's tires or suspension or vehicle or where do I go or how do I get there. And so, that's kind of how Trail Recon has evolved, is just trying to answer people's questions. And so there's not like one question I get bombarded with. It's just it's very diverse, which I love. I love being able to talk about a lot of different things with folks. It's fun. So.
Yeah, but I think you seem like a very grounded, normal guy that just was doing your thing, and then you started putting it online. And then
I saw you walk up here. It wasn't like you flew in. Very normal. Your gait was very measured.
Yeah, I didn't see a security detail.
I didn't realize I was being watched so intensely.
But I would imagine that when you rise to that level, it's like a very out of body experience type thing. Like, well, I'm just
that's how he envisions it.
Someday when I get there. People know who I am, but everywhere we go, they notice Matt. Matt's the only one they notice, not me.
Why is that?
I don't know.
All right. Anyhow,
but so the Trail Recon started with your son in the back seat, just kind of posting videos.
Yeah, the only thing it was the first time we took the Jeep out on a trail, and he was in the back filming. I had no idea he was doing it. On the way home, he edited a little video on his phone together, and I was like, "That is really cool. Let's just do that every time we go out. Let's just keep a video journal."
What year are we looking at now?
This is about a little over 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so we did. We just started doing that as we went out. And we had no idea how to film, no idea how to edit anything. But we just posted that. At the time, it was just our family's YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you had mentioned, this is all started just so we can share our stuff with our family.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even that. It was just just
for you
just
guys.
for us. Just so we have a memory of where we went, And then people were watching it. They were searching that trail that we were on and watching it and asking questions like, how hard was it? Do you think I could make my Jeep go there? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, this is weird. Let's just see if we can make better videos and trying to be more informative. And the first year's videos are awful. They're horrible.
Every content creator says, don't go back and watch my first anything.
Start here.
If you want a good laugh, go for it.
Yeah.
And so then fast forward 5 years, and we've kind of learned a few things about creating good content, and we keep trying hard and just having fun out there.
I noticed that you seem like you once you made the decision to have intent about your creation, you dove into the technology and how to use these things, and what gear to use, and you've tested it out. What was that learning process like?
It was tough because I knew nothing about how to use a camera, right? And I didn't even know what the right camera gear was to use. And so trying to figure out, okay, we're filming a trail, which is really a different dynamic than filming other stuff.
I work filming a wedding.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I work with camera crews. I was just in Utah for 2 weeks working with a camera crew, and I was teaching them how to like film on the trail. It was really interesting because there's some things you learn over doing it over and over. Yeah. You want to have lightweight gear. You need to have a stabilizer. And there's certain shots that you can just get that people are interested in seeing because nobody likes that video straight from the window the entire time.
They want to see stuff outside.
That's his deal. His Instagram is 4 posts. His Instagram is 4 posts with that same video all 4 times.
What's crazy about making the off-road videos, they don't see that you have to climb on top of like a hill just so you can get like 3 seconds of B-roll.
Right.
Oh, and then you got to climb back down.
Oh, yeah.
Or running back and forth for the camera.
Or when you're in Death Valley and you've got 4 other vehicles with you, got to tell them, guys, we got to stop.
Yes.
This is gonna take me about 5 minutes to set up.
Here.
You're gonna drive by, and that's it, and it will be for 3 seconds on the video.
And that's why all my videos are horrible. Because I don't want to do any of that. I just want to hit a button.
It's so funny because we have that conversation every time. It's like, no, this time, guys, we're going to get video. This is what we're going to do. We all agree we're going to get video. We hit the dirt, and it's 60 miles an hour as fast as we can. And then like, that would have been a great plot for video. Never mind. Let's go. We'll get it next time.
We can't turn around.
We are horrible at that.
But you know what? You have to have that side of it too. You've got to go enjoy it. Like we do all the time. We're like, you know what? We're not filming this trip.
Cameras,
we're just going to go enjoy it because you have to do that. Otherwise, it becomes work, and I never want it to feel like that.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. How much time? I mean, you seem to be doing a lot of traveling, and I know that Trail Recon is your full-time gig now. Is it more work than a 40-hour week, or I mean, what?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it would be. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people can look at, and we've heard this from other people where they see people like you doing your thing and full time, like, oh, that would be so cool, and you're like, yeah, it is cool, but I guarantee behind the scenes he's doing hours and hours of work that people don't see for the final product.
But let me just say this at the beginning. I am so privileged to be able to do this. I mean, I can't believe that this is something that I'm doing for a living. I mean, if you would ask me when I was in the military, hey, when you retire, you're going to run a YouTube channel? I'd have looked at you like, what are you talking about?
What is a YouTube?
What's YouTube? Exactly.
And do they have ointment for that?
Exactly. But you're right. It is a lot of work. There's a lot of pre-work that goes into shooting a video, then just the filming, and then there's the whole editing piece and promoting the video. And then there's just all the other stuff that's come along with, working with other YouTubers, other influencers,
other companies.
So you're constantly, my email, and I just can't keep up.
And people from Icon are like, no, you got to come and sit with these guys in the orange room. But I don't know what I don't want to do. No, you got to come and sit for promotion.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, those guys are weird. I don't want to do that. How much time are you traveling, and where are you going?
We try to go out at least once a month on at least a large trip. I mean, I'm out on the trail often just because that's what I love doing. But we try to do at least one good weekend trip, if not like a full week trip, at least once a month or a quarter if we can. We're really excited about getting ready to go to Alaska later this year. We're going to do a 3-week trip all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. Come back down through the Denali Forest. We're going to go hit some glaciers and go do some off-roading and camp the entire way.
When you say we, who's we?
So there's 5 of us going. 5 vehicles. We limited. There was a lot of people that really wanted.
I'm sure.
But we had to for logistics.
Are any Nissan Frontiers going?
If you need a Frontier to go with you.
Brad's like, what? What is that?
Give me some notice. I mean, it's short notice, but I could probably.
Brad's like, they still make those.
Look, I own Jeeps, but I love all off-road vehicles. But there just happens to only be Jeeps going on this trip.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Everybody knows.
So it'll be Marco in his Wrangler. I'm taking the Gladiator. We have our good buddy Eric's bringing his Wrangler. My buddy Josh is bringing his Gladiator, and then Kevin and Brittany from Light Bright are also joining us in their Gladiator as well.
Very cool.
Which one are you taking your Gladiator?
I'm going to take the Gladiator. Only because my son's coming, and because it's so long, it's just going to be nice to have the extra gear. But
yeah. How? I mean, you were early on with the Gladiator. You jumped on it pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
What's been the most?
That would be my second. I love my Frontier, but I'll tell you, I'm becoming infatuated with a Gladiator, and I didn't want to. It is a thing with me.
Yeah, I love my Wrangler. That's near and dear to my heart. That's where it all started, and that's my baby. And that thing has taken me everywhere, and some places that I shouldn't have gone. It has taken me there and gotten me home every time. So I love the Wrangler. But the Gladiator it's really a different platform. I mean, that extra long wheelbase, the departure angle, I'm still getting used to it, and I'm still banging the heck out of it every time I'm on the trail. And so it makes me think like, okay, well, maybe this trail would have been better with the Wrangler. But when we're on our long trips, when we're going out to Death Valley, and I know when we're going to Alaska, that's the right vehicle to take because it's going to be more comfortable. It's going to carry more, more gear for us. So.
And I think that's a big, the big thing about the Gladiator. I was a Jeep guy for years, and it was always like, well, if you got more than 2 people and more than a backpack, you better get something else. You get a trailer or something, right? And the Gladiator, with the success of the Tacoma and some of the other platforms, the Ford Ranger, they need to keep up with that. They
Frontier.
had that
booming Frontier market.
They are able to now you can now do what you do in a Jeep with the gear that maybe you couldn't before. And I'm sure people would argue, you can do it before, but I'm just saying the payload and the capacity to carry stuff is now with the Gladiator on par with everything else.
Right. Yeah. And now I've got this X2 trailer that I've been towing around, and towing that with the Gladiator. It's like, is there even a trailer back there? I mean, it's just flawlessly towed.
Wow. So we were just having this conversation. I really feel like the trailer life is like the next thing for me. We've talked about rooftop tents.
Dude, that went from a rooftop tent to now it's trailer.
No, You're all over the place. I am. I can't afford any of it. Let's put it on the. I can't buy any of it.
That is a constant. You couldn't.
I can't even afford the Ford that I'm driving. I don't know what you're talking about.
No,
I still need to sell the Tacoma. But seeing like at Hammers, having the ability to do the trailer as base camp, cut it loose, go wheel with some authority because you're not carrying an extra 500 pounds of rooftop tent and gear to come back, hook up, and go home. That seems appealing to me.
Yep. If you would have asked me 6 months ago what I thought about a trailer, I'd be like, I don't think a trailer's for me. I don't think it's really my thing. But, I'd try one out. Now that I've been using one for a couple months and actually off-roading it, legitimately off-roading it. Like, we've been on some really legitimate trails where I'm like, I don't know about this one. And I'm looking back there. I'm like, Marco, you think it's going to be all right? He's like, dude, it's just going. It's just going. And so I am a trailer convert, and I think there is a lot of upside to having a trailer, like the things you just mentioned.
Yeah, because we had spoken at King of the Hammers, and I was like, so how do you like wheeling with the trailer? And just like he said right now, he's like, first of all, it's like you don't even notice that it's back there, and he showed me pictures of like steep angles, like it's like almost a 90 degree.
Yeah,
and he's like, it just goes like, and
I think that's I really think that's the direction I'm going to head because I was talking earlier, like the rack, the rooftop tent, and all the gear. That's great. It looks cool, but this thing, I had it for 2 weeks when we were Hammers, and I was able to bomb some of these trails in the desert with no weight in the back, light. And I'm like, I miss driving a light vehicle, because I hadn't built it yet. I kind of want to keep it light. So I don't.
Yeah, having that trailer, being able to just drop it off, and then still being able to like freelance, and not have that concern, feeling light and flick. It's a dirt bike term, but flickable. Where it's throttle, response, and go. Yeah, I really live that too.
Yeah.
Nissan Frontier.
If you look at my Wrangler last year, it had a full hardtop roof rack. There was a full cabinet setup in the back, and now if you look at it, it's soft top. Yeah, it's all emptied out. But I can now I can wheel it harder. I don't have to worry about breaking all the stuff that I was breaking, and now I can just tow that trailer and just go hit it hard and have a good time.
Yeah, and the other thing is we don't get out on multi-day trails as much as we would like to, right? Not yet. But a lot of it's day run stuff, right? And I drive this every day for work, and if we're gonna day run it, I don't need all that gear, right? Yep. So let's day run it 5 times and then hook up the trailer for the long haul trip, right? So I'm glad to hear you say that you're a convert, that you're happy with it.
Yeah, I'm excited to use it more. I think.
Are you taking it to Alaska?
I'm planning on taking it to Alaska, which that does play into the factor, though. Fuel.
Well, fuel's
going to go down.
Yeah,
and we're talking about 8,300 miles, so fuel is something that's
at
heavy
2 miles an hour.
That's heavy on our mind. And then Alaska is sloppy, so there's a lot of mud, there's a lot of water crossings. So there's some things that I've got to think about long and hard before we do it. But I think I'm going to take it with me. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the deeper and deeper you go into Alaska, the less fuel stops there are.
Well, the good news is you can carry extra fuel with the trailer.
That's what I was just
so
going to
that's a bonus.
say. So
yeah, but it's like the more weight you carry, the less fuel MPG.
Oh, yeah. What's the
There's a balance.
XY
Yeah,
trajectory
there's a balance somewhere.
That sounds like math or some kind of formula. I think Cody has a spread.
I don't.
Let me introduce you to Cody. He has spreadsheets.
He's Mr. Spreadsheet.
Yeah, he knows a lot of things about
percentages and risk factor.
What they're saying is I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd, and I'm good with it.
Talk to him.
I like nerd stuff. So Alaska, when you going?
We're going to leave in June.
Okay, so that's
mosquito season.
Well, that seems
hopefully not terrible mosquito season.
That's we're what is it now? We're in March.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, gee, that's 3 months away. That's going to be quick.
Oh,
That's quick.
How prepared do you feel?
We've been planning for about the last 4 months.
Okay.
So with the whole team, we've had monthly meetings, and everybody's got a little piece of the pie that they're working on. We kind of spread the responsibilities around. So I think we're going to be fine. But you're right. We're going to get up to the last month. Come on,
we're leaving tomorrow. We're going to change everything right now.
Yeah. I think we're going to be okay, but there is still a lot more to prepare for. So.
Wow. What do you have anything between now and then?
You know what? These shows are just consuming my time, right? We got this, and then we got overland EJS coming up, and then Overland Expo.
You drive a Ford, you don't have to go to EJS.
Well, that's
That's the beauty of it.
That's why I'm not going.
But going back to having my son home, he's on leave for the next 3 weeks, and he's let me know in no uncertain conditions that we are off-roading the heck out of our time while he's on leave. So we're going to be hitting the trail a lot over the next couple weeks. So there'll probably be some videos come out.
That's cool. Expo West.
Yep, we'll be there for sure.
Are you guys? Do you have any plans for like caravanning and wheeling out, or are you just going to get out there to do the show?
Last year we did a pretty big trip on the way up there, and by the time I got home, I was spent.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to convince these guys to do the Mojave Trail 2 Expo.
Yeah.
But I'm not successful in selling it.
Well,
yet.
it's not that you're not selling me on it. I want to do it. I also want to have a job when I get back.
True,
like,
can you talk
hey,
to my
boss? I need 16 days off of work.
We get a proposal together,
for my
and
side
then,
gig.
I'll send it to you guys as boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Any big modifications to the Gladiator before Alaska?
I think I might be putting a hard shell on the rear.
Really?
I think I'm
that new the new was it the ARE that just came out?
RLD. I think the ARE I was checking out, but the RLD I think I don't know. I haven't pulled the trigger, but I think that's the direction I'm going to go.
Hold on, breaking news.
When I first got the Gladiator, there were no options.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
There was the Lightner rack, and everybody else was working on theirs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so that's why the Lightner went up there, and I love it. It's an awesome rack. It's very modular. You can do all kinds of cool stuff to it. But the back of my Jeep gets so filthy dirty when we're out on a trail, and mud, and everything's just getting all gummed up. And I think an enclosed system just might be a better solution, especially for Alaska.
Yeah, absolutely. Up there with the, like you said, the mud and the slop and the weather and all that stuff. I mean, I do miss having an SUV where you can open up the hatch, throw your duffel bag in, close the hatch, and wheel. And nothing gets dirty. You don't have to worry about it.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, I got to prepare for all the mud and the slop that we all understand that I'm going to head into. This is what I'm going to do. How crazy.
Does anybody make really big Ziploc bags? I just put everything in a Ziploc bag, go in the back of the truck with a chip clip. I need a big Ziploc bag and a chip clip.
That's great.
Exactly. So that's cool. Well, I'm excited to see that because I've had those thoughts as well about throwing camper shell on and just seeing. I did the in the Tacoma. I had the decked system, which is a great system, but I found that I was packing so much crap in it. Driving it around every day was unnecessary. So I don't know what the. It's so funny. You look at your rig and you're like, oh, that's perfect. I guarantee there are a million people out there that go, oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. And you're like, I need to tweak it.
I'm always tweaking. I'm always tweaking.
Yeah,
I'm always tweaking.
Well, we all are, and some people have. There's never a done vehicle as far as I'm concerned. Right. The minute I get one done, I sell it and get a different one.
What is that?
I don't know.
You just bought a Ford.
I know.
Sorry. Sorry, Brad. That's just every interview. I gotta throw that.
Get him started.
Dig him.
But no, we've watched a lot of the stuff that you've done. One of the things that I appreciate is that going back to you being stopped every 5 seconds to talk to people is no matter how much success you've had or what you've done, you're always aware of the community around you, and you have those conversations, and you're open to the conversations and stuff. And so that's commendable, and we appreciate that you took the time to come over here and sit down and talk to us.
For sure. I got to tell you, it's a little surreal that I'm sitting here talking to all three of you. I mean, I met you all individually, but I've never actually like sat here and talked with you all three and listening to your voices. I'm like, I'm in my car right now listening to a podcast.
Wait, you listen to us?
It's and it's
what's weird. Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say what's weird is like we met. We unofficially met at that event that happened at Hammer,
right?
But like we never really talked after the fact. It was kind of just like everyone did their own thing, but now we're here.
Yeah. And it's we love this kind of stuff. We love, like, we do the podcast every week, but we love sitting down with people and having the interaction. It's a lot of fun for us, and we don't get to do as many of these events as we'd like to do.
The only thing we're missing is like the campfire here. We're all
hey, well, you guys got the White Claws going, so that's part of it. But Omaha. Thank you, sir. So that was a code word at an event last year.
Inside.
If anybody came up and said Omaha, they get a free shirt.
There you go.
We gave out like 40 shirts that day.
That's cool.
So I had a guy yesterday riding on a beach cruiser yell Omaha at me. Yeah, that was awesome.
I know.
Forever.
I love it.
It's infamous now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, cool, man. Thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. We're gonna watch what you're doing. We're the Alaska thing. I'm assuming you're gonna
think about running you down in Alaska in a stock
frontier.
Come on,
they're going to be filming, and they're going to be like just 5 of them in a row, and they're going to be like, "Has anybody noticed that white frontier that's been behind us for 300 miles?"
We're in Janu. How did he get here?
There's a white frontier. We need to call 911. I really am concerned about that. No, but we'll watch. How long will it take you to do the trip? And then the editing and then the release.
Oh man, that's a tough question.
I know
it will take a while, but I try to be pretty quick. So they'll probably be like a first couple. It'll be a series of videos.
Yep.
And so they'll probably start coming out within 2 weeks of at least by the time.
Wow.
You heard it here.
I mean, this is my full-time job. I mean, I gotta just we come home and I gotta knock it out. And I love being able to put the puzzle of the adventure together and then start sharing that. That to me is really. I mean, people don't like the editing. I actually do.
Yeah.
So I'll be excited to sit down and I'll just start crunching through it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Well, we're going to be looking forward to it. We're going to keep an eye out for it and watch what you're doing, and hopefully we want to do more of these events.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's awesome, man, and you guys keep doing what you're doing. I love the show. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. All right, we are at the Four-Wheeler Adventure Expo here in Costa Mesa, still in the Orange Room with Clay and Rochelle Croft. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Yeah, you guys
awesome.
Like you were just saying how like you haven't seen each other for 2 hours. You guys show up, you got all kinds of stuff going on. Like what's the show been like for you the last few days?
It's been a good show. First time we took a risk, which is something we like to do. And
really, that surprises me.
And it's turned out really well. Working with Icon for years now, and we saw a lot of synergy to be here, and a lot of our audience is here in Southern California.
Oh, absolutely.
So this was it gave us the ability to come in and say, hey, and meet a lot of people, and we have. It has been really great.
Well, and I'm sure that you've heard this before, and it's nothing new to you, but from my perspective, I know from Jose's perspective, we had this conversation where, like, I've been wheeling for a long time, but overlanding was not a thing until I saw it on YouTube with Expedition Overland. Like that's where I heard the word. That's what I saw. Like I still like remember the slow motion chainsaw on the tree. Like I want to be with those guys. Like that looks. They have chainsaws and refrigerators. That's what I want to do. Like
they're using all my tools I have at work, and they're four-wheeling at the same time.
And I know like you could feel that swell here in Southern California because we have the access to the terrain and to the land to go do that stuff, right? So I would venture that a huge number of your downloads and demographic is here in Southern California.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. The audience has been amazing this weekend too. I was talking to a couple of the other exhibitors and vendors, and Everyone is so nice. I don't know if it's all the vitamin D.
That's
all the
really not.
sunshine.
Yeah, you're getting a whole different
Everyone
experience.
has been great.
It's because you're not on the freeway with
That's
them,
right.
and they're
People
not
are excited
flipping
to
you
see
off.
you.
Yes,
Most of the time, like
they're not that nice to us. I'll tell you that right now.
Exactly.
They come
Like,
up here
if
and
you
make
live
fun
here,
of us. That's their
not like
thing.
that.
Good to know.
They like you. We like you. That's all it is. Normally, it's hate and just you're on Twitter like I hate living here.
Southern California sucks. No, it is. The demographic though is very different here in Orange County, and I could see, like, we talk about commuting here in Southern California. There's overland rigs on the freeway all day long, and you can see the people that are living the lifestyle.
Oh, this is like the center. I've brought it up a couple of times. Like every time I'm not in Orange County. This is Orange County. This is like, and I do not live here. I'm like a dirt person. I live like 40
on the
miles
other
that
side of the
way,
mountain where
on
you
the
can
other
afford
side of the
houses.
hill, where it's like dirt bikes and four wheeling is the norm. You come down here, and it's kind of a different thing because everybody has like rooftop tents, and they just leave them on when they're going to work. You see them on the highway. Whatever, it's almost like a status thing down here to have those rigs and that capability. So,
and a big part of that is I think the influence that from the stuff that you guys have done and other people have built this community, this lifestyle that we used to just call roading and wheeling and camping, right?
Yep.
And then, but with that in mind, was that at all an intention, or were you just filming the life that you guys lived, and this is kind of what grew out of it?
Well, I was first exposed to overlanding when I realized that there was this. To me, there is a criteria around how you define overlanding.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what makes overlanding special. I picked up an Overland Journal magazine in a dealership here up in Bozeman, and realized that, hey, this idea of living out of your vehicle, traveling out of your vehicle, and going and seeing these off the beaten path was a thing. And I was already doing weekend warrior type of things, and then it expanded my horizons, with a few flips of the page, that I could take my vehicles even further. I could go for long distances. I could live out of them for a time. And then that right there sold me on it, and we started working on it from there. And then we did weekend warrior trips. We did extended 4 or 5 day trips with a team as we were getting used to kind of our systems, and that was all in preparations to go to Canada and Alaska and spend a long time there.
Yep.
And then I guess with that bigger vision of wanting to become an overlander, we worked our way towards it, and then it became our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
The life.
Yeah, certainly for the better.
Yeah.
And one of the things when we talked to Rochelle on the show, she talked about how you guys kind of took a downturn in the economy and what could have been a good reason to mail it in, and turn that into, well, we're going to combine some of our passions with some of the skill sets that we have to create this. And to me, I think that's a testament to the faith that you have in you as people and your relationship. How much of that was like 100% we're doing this, it's done, and how much of that was like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
We go through this every year.
All of it for a long time has been, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. A lot of people will say, we just launched our first season, 3 seasons on Amazon Prime just recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so even talking to people here at the show, they're like, man, it comes across like in a way an instant success to them.
Really?
and they realize,
really? Have
then
they
you say,
not watched any of the YouTube channels?
This content's been on the internet for a few years now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which has been really cool because we're finding new people that are very excited about this thing called Overland.
Yep.
And they don't even know there's a YouTube channel there.
Oh, wow.
So like, hey, there's already 3 other types of seasons that you can go watch on YouTube, and we're working to get it to Amazon. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that they're kind of coming at us like it seems like it's just happened. Well, that series took 7 years to produce.
Yeah.
And each one of those years was a defining line. We tell the story often that before Alaska, we knew with film budgets, et cetera, that it was going to cost a certain amount of money to go and produce a season in Alaska. And we were really young. We were just getting started. We had a real basic group of sponsors, and we looked at it, and I think the number was at the time like $150,000 that we were going to need to do to produce that season. And that was our best guess, because we pay everybody. Everybody on our team has always been paid to the best of our abilities, a good rate. And because we came from other jobs in film worlds where that didn't happen, and it would burn relationships and it causes stress. And we were really looking at all this for the long haul. Yeah. And so from day one, we've paid people. Even in our pilot season, everyone's been paid. And we have great friends and friendships because of it to this day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were looking at the cost, and we all drew the figurative line across the table, and said, okay, we don't know how in the world. I think at the time we had like 40,000 raised.
We had 40.
I've got $5.25.
So
What can we do from here?
30% of the way there, and we were 2 months away from doing it. And we all said, well, if we're going to do it, we got to do it. And we all stepped across that figurative line, and we got it done.
We did.
We broke even-ish.
Yeah.
That year.
Hey, that's a win. That's a win.
It was a win.
And we struggled on the financial end for 7-8 years before we were getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, we're 10 years in this year. So do the math.
Do the math. Yeah. Well, and
I'm not very good. I'm not very good at math, but I can do it. I think that's like a couple years or something like that.
So in that, so I find it interesting that people say overnight success or look at it that way, because I think we know on the back end that overnight success is 15 years of effort, 120 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like it's nonstop. How much during that time period where it was like, I don't know what we're going to do financially and whatever, what was the driving force to keep going?
That's a great question.
Because it's easy to keep going when you're having the success.
Yeah.
But when you're
Please answer that question.
Because Matt needs to know. Because you're talking about your team getting paid, I'm like,
to know
Clay,
why I'm still doing this.
Clay's talking about you guys, about teams getting paid, and I'm like, shut up, Clay. Shut up, Clay.
Oh, wait, you pay your people? Like, Cody, I need to talk to you after the show real quick.
Revolt on your hands. I can't
single-handedly responsible for
the demise of the Trailchaser podcast. I'm gonna be like, Clay, I need a job now because my friends have all left me. No, seriously, like during the easy times, it's easy to keep going. It's the no one's paying attention to my content. I really believe in this, and I can't get the word out. What kept it going?
Rochelle.
Yeah.
Rochelle kept it going.
I could totally see Rochelle like, no, you're not giving up. Get your ass back in there. Start editing a video. That story needs to be better.
Yeah.
It's got to be out tomorrow.
It definitely goes both ways, but I think the biggest thing, even the last couple of years, we've talked about this, because it shifts. Like, it's as you grow as a business and a company and people, hopefully you're changing, because if you're not changing and you're not growing, you're basically dying, right? You're staying in the same place, and we've never wanted to do that. So I think the first thing is to ask yourself, what is your why? Why am I doing this? And that is the number one question. Because if it's just to make money, if it's just to get likes on Instagram or YouTube, you will fizzle out in 1 to 3 years.
Yeah, 100%
It is not
agree.
sustainable. So our why is we always wanted to make an impact. We always wanted to inspire people. We wanted the big picture, because we see how much it's impacted our lives when we push ourselves to be uncomfortable and to get into the unknown places, and you realize you have to problem solve, you have to figure out what you're capable of. It's very easy to stay comfortable. Your brain does not like to be uncomfortable. It will fight you to the death. You have to put yourself in those situations to get out of it. So
yeah, I think we have always had great teams from the very beginning. And we've been very fortunate with that. And because of that, I think there was this and still is a brotherhood part of it. Like, we decided to do this, and we're all figuring it out together. And we owe a lot of people a lot of thanks over the years that have really put their heart and soul and certain years of their lives into what Expo has become. It wasn't just me and Rochelle doing stuff. It was a whole group of people, still is.
And that comes through, though. That comes through the
100%.
content.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. When you watch the shows and you kind of follow along with the journey, you can tell it's not like, Clay's got a great idea. minions go do your thing. It is like, hey, as a team, what do we want to accomplish next? And going back to your point about pushing yourself, it's clear that you guys are having those strategic conversations about what is next, how do we get there, who's going to participate, and all of that comes through.
Yeah.
And a big part of that, I think, comes through in the way that you edit, narrate, and tell the story of each adventure. What was in that part? I think we talked about it a little bit. Like, that was one of the first impacts on me, was the way you were telling the story. Where did that come from?
A lot of great people in front of me that I studied. You know, Warren Miller, Anthony Bourdain. Just National Geographic stuff that I watched as a kid. I've always been into documentaries since I was a kid. It was a tradition on Sundays that
Nice.
we would get pizza and we would watch National Geographic Channel on Sunday nights when I was a kid. So I guess maybe it was programmed to some degree because I was watching documentaries from such a young age.
It's interesting you say documentary, though, because I don't feel...
Well, I get the Miller and Anthony Bourdain thing. I actually do. Like, watching this week, watching you guys and the videos, just getting caught up, I see that now, and it really does translate. There's something that honestly, your narration like draws you into the things that you're able to video. It encapsulates. Thank you.
It's a big word.
I got a couple beers, but like
Claws.
you guys really no White Claws, no White Claws. But it does, like it draws you in, and the narration really is the capper. Like, there is the video. And it's beautiful, the places that you go and the things that you do and how you do it and you how you represent everything. And then the narration is the capper on top. So just saying that, Bourdain, because I love those shows too, and I love those same documentaries. It's just brilliant. You guys do an amazing job as far as the narration. Kudos.
And how much of that is pre-planned, and how much of that is we film, we edit, and then go back and narrate?
It is really developed over years. At first, I didn't map any of the episodes. We were just out there shooting content, and then we sorted out later. Fast forward through several expeditions and trips, we refined our process so that our post-production would be much more efficient.
I got to imagine the post-production on that.
Yeah.
We got 200,000 hours of video. Let's clip it together and then talk about it.
Actually, as far as production is concerned, I'm sorry, I'm whatever.
Do you think?
But you guys, your production doesn't come across as, it comes across so well produced, but still warm
and genuine.
And genuine, exactly. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Look, are we gonna have to put a restraining order?
And that's enough for me. And
back up, Matt.
And Jose, you can take the mic again.
Here, I'll sit between the two of you.
I have noticed you've moved closer.
No, but you were saying, so you do the pre-work to kind of plan out what the episode's gonna look like.
Yeah, and let's see. There's to a degree. So
I'm sure there's only so much you can plan.
Yeah, we've developed the formula on how to recognize where we are inside of a story at any given time.
Okay.
And so it's no longer shooting in the dark. We know when we're moving between one scene and the next. We know when we need to shoot transitions. We know when all that, because we take our, and this is my job on our expeditions. Like a lot of guys, we share the expedition workload, but the production load is really on me. So like you'll see Kurt Williams and other guys really handling the logistics side of where we're going, when and where, and handling that, because back when I was doing all of it.
Yeah.
And if you're doing all of it, you're not doing any of it well. So Kurt came in and really was able to handle that. Ryan Erickson handles it really well. Ty Heaps handles it really well. Rochelle can handle it really well. So that allows me to kind of put myself into a director role in the seat.
And you can see the vision, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've even positioned myself strategically inside the convoy. Like I sit in the middle seat on the passenger side of the middle truck.
Okay.
And I'm there for a very specific reason over time. I can see what's ahead of me. I can see what's behind me.
You're like Overwatch, right?
That's the drone seat. Yeah, I don't want to be in the front because you're making
I don't want to be in the
puts
front either, but they make me do it.
Or puts you in a position to be making certain types of decisions that the director shouldn't be making. The logistics guys should be making those decisions. And then the guy in the back is the convoy director. So he's actually the one in the rear. He's actually the one moving the convoy left and right.
You're not doing your job, Jose.
Why did you look at me?
Because you're not doing your job, Jose.
We have no
Clay
visual.
Clay said you should be doing more is what, because he's always in back. I'm always in front. I'm lost all the time. These guys yell at me for being lost. It just gives me more anxiety about being
at least
lost.
know where we're going.
But I could see how after you do a handful of series, right? You do the first couple, and you know what you're up against on the back end. Planning it out on the foreground, like, okay, at the very least, this is the arc of the show. Let's kind of work towards the arc. Is that kind of, or does it get more detailed to shot by shot?
Without getting into all the logistics of it, it is very complex.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll probably write a book about it someday once I figure it all or mostly out.
Because you've got, I think you've got enough time. You should probably go ahead and start doing that now. You should have it knocked out by Thursday? I'll give you till Thursday.
Okay. First draft next week. Please.
What was your question?
I was just talking about the detail. You don't have to go to the details of the pre-planning of the show, but like identifying the arc of the show versus the shot by shot.
Yeah. So the ability to plan and chart where you are in your episodes. Like we have it now down to the fact that we're like, okay, we are episode 4, somewhere between minute 10 and 15.
Wow, that is nuts. We do one show a week, and we have no idea how long it's been. Like we'll sit in the room, and that's crazy that you could do that.
Well, and if you don't do that, the stress levels are high because you're just shooting in the dark. And
shoot too much.
You shoot too much,
and you spend that much more time afterwards trying to edit. Yeah, I can see
which we have equated to every minute filmed in the camera is 3 minutes of post.
Yeah.
So every time you push that button and roll a minute, you just added 3 minutes of work in the post production room.
That's so. I think people don't think about that.
Yeah, but that's for good quality stuff. You haven't seen my dash coverage from my Frontier. Like 30 seconds on that is like 30 seconds of garbage on my Instagram.
We just had someone say, the last thing you want to do is get like that shaky cell phone video through the windshield, and Matt's like, that's what I do.
Stuff.
That's all my videos.
I'm known for that.
That's like like ghost hunters type stuff.
Did you see that?
TV shows of ghost hunters? Like, exactly. What was that?
Yeah, no.
You don't know.
No.
I'm doing 90 miles an hour down a trail. That's all.
You drive a Frontier. You're not doing 90 miles an hour anywhere.
It's a little exaggerated.
I'm kidding. You can. I know you can.
He's reading kilometers.
Nice. So
Damn
you guys,
Clay.
The success of XO and the success of the stuff you guys have done individually. I know it's it's not overnight successes. It's like long, hard work. What do you do when you just get tired? What's the refresh? What is it that I'm burnt out? I need to refresh. Because a lot of us try to.
That's a very good question.
Because I asked, because a lot of us for a refresh is, hey, I'm gonna go hit the trail for 2 days. Yeah. That's what you do all day. Like,
that's
so what
months out
do
of
you
your
do
life.
to refresh?
Well,
do you go sit in a cubicle?
The funny
like the rest
thing
of us.
is that's not what we do all day.
You take customer service phone calls.
These are project management Gantt charts.
Yeah, I think that's a great question because we talk about it all the time on how to navigate this, because the places we used to go to recharge and refresh are getting busier, which is great. More people are getting outside.
Yeah.
But we definitely can't take our trucks either.
Yeah.
Because then we're all of a sudden working.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
You could take the Ford Ranger. No one will think it's you.
But if you want to come,
No.
But if you want to come back home,
on it.
Stickers on it.
if you want to come back home, you can take the Land Cruiser.
Yeah, I heard that if someone else likes stickers around here too. And this has stickers on it, you're still going to be talking to people.
True.
That is the extent of my four-wheel knowledge. Like, what kind of stickers you have. Like, this seems like a pretty equipped rig. There's like a bunch of stickers on it. It's probably good. It's probably super capable.
He wouldn't put those stickers on if he didn't know what he was doing. But seriously, the refresh part. I'm curious to know how you guys do that, individually and as a couple.
As a couple, We still haven't figured it all out.
Day spa. You guys need a 3-day spa trip.
About every 3 years, we go to Mexico.
Yep, we go scuba diving because that was something that's totally out of the element, and it brings your focus to you have to be present. So finding those activities that cause you to be present are really restful and relaxed, like recharging.
Yeah, for me that's fly fishing, shooting, and hunting. So if I can get out and do any of those, it's usually a pretty good reset for me.
And on those trips, do you I'm leaving every camera at home?
Oh yeah,
I'm recording because of
no technology whatsoever.
A lot of people are like, man, you must have really great videos and pictures of your kids.
I haven't seen my kids in 3 months.
No, I do not. Because
we still don't have a wedding video.
Weren't you originally a wedding videographer?
Yeah. I think I'm 18. How many years into this problem
honey, are you going to get to that this week? I'll work on it this week.
We're coming up on 17 year of this being a problem.
Yes,
17 years.
It's all right.
I think someone's gotten over it because otherwise she wouldn't be here.
So, recovering.
So going back to Clay's narration, I think you just skipped that one right there.
That conversation just went high and left.
Edit that.
No. Getting to a place where you can restore yourself and especially under high performance, which define what it is, but whatever you want. But we try to live and work at our best performance possible. And then we have to meet the demands of what has been created over time with the limited amount of resources that we always seem to have with the growth that we're experiencing. Finding that balance in restoration has been a significant challenge to the point that after the 2017 expedition in South America, 2018 was incredibly taxing with the Greenland expedition going right into Overlander series, which took us 15 trips throughout that year and producing that level of content. It nearly killed me. And then we went right into the Great Pursuit series, which was after a tremendous amount of failures in the plannings. We went through 6 logistic run-ups of 6 different trips that all failed or fell through before the Great Pursuit was landed on. Went through that, and by the end of all that, all of us were like super smoked.
Yeah.
And we really recognized that we had to change some things in our work schedules and our work balanced life. And even though we do get to go do great things, we're not on the road that much. We spend I would say we spend 10 months a year prepping for 2 months of travel.
Yeah.
And then
another 4 months of post production, right?
Yeah. 4 to 6 months. Yeah.
How many months is that? That sound like
we're running out of months.
On, just quickly, that sound like 20 months or something like that.
Yeah. And what you're
like
seeing
years
through that
years
is that any given project is spooled up over about 2 years.
Yeah.
So right now, when we're talking about, we're about to go shoot our season this year, but we're already in the planning stages of what we're shooting in 2021.
Oh, wow.
So, because it takes that much amount of time to spool it up, to develop the concepts and things like that. So, getting back to just restoration, though, find time to get away, and then family.
Yeah.
Just unplugging and going to our own families and hanging with them. That's pretty good. But we don't do it that much. We run pretty hard.
Well, we do run pretty hard. Our kids are pretty self-sufficient.
Well, because I can imagine that the only way someone goes from the concept that you guys started with to the level that you're at today is with a significant amount of work ethic and drive, right? And that is fantastic for gaining success. The downfall to people that have that is they go too far. I'm not saying everybody does, but there's a danger that the drive and the planning and the work ethic get to a point where you're driving towards a goal and kind of ignore the other things around you, right?
Yeah.
And I could see that based on what I've seen you guys do, I could see that being like one of those things you're like, okay, consciously we have to work on.
Yep, and that's where we land ourselves into this year and what we're doing. Thankfully, we have a really mature group of people that and intelligent and creative people that are working with us that after a whole season of working with the Walthals and the Giordano's, we feel comfortable that we can set them out and say, it's time for you guys to go tell your stories.
Wow.
And it's been very liberating.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
Very.
I feel very honored to be able to do that. So, this year, what's so remarkable, and thank you to, the people that back us, that watch us, that sponsor us, they've created this ability for a company to send people out to live their dreams beyond just ours.
Mm-hmm.
So we have fully funded the Giordano's expedition. We have fully funded a year, up to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year of the Walthals circumnavigating Australia with their family of 5. And then we're doing our own projects right now as well.
Yep.
And with them being out there doing that, telling their stories, it has allowed us to scale back our workflow, work on different things, be home. I'll still be doing a trip with the boys this year.
Yep.
But it really changed the work-life balance and shift in the pressures of all of that, and we're already seeing our lives get much better again.
Yeah, it felt we made this decision. We've been recognizing it for about 3 years of how do we do this, because we can't keep going this hard.
Yeah.
There's only 2 of us. We have an amazing team of people, but a lot of them have full-time jobs. And they come in for those trips, but we were just recognizing like this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
Our family won't sustain it. Our energy won't sustain it. And we didn't even know what the answer was at the time. We just had to keep going. And sometimes I think so much of this and owning your own business and taking risks is just timing.
Yeah.
And you have to put in your consistent work to get to that place where the timing comes together and the pieces will start to fall in place. And that was what really this year was. And we left it open to the team. We called a team meeting. We're like, guys, this is where we're at. We're exhausted. We love what we do. We just physically need to change something, and we want to keep growing. Yeah. So how do we do that? We can't be everywhere at once. And they came to us with a list of our biggest dream is to circumnavigate Australia with our kids. And we were like, sweet, go do it. We don't even need to hear the other things.
Well,
we're dreamers.
dare you.
So,
And the way you guys did that, though, you did it. You didn't introduce a new dynamic at the same time of sending them out. It was you brought them into the team. Yep. You let us hear some of their story, find out about who they are. We're now invested in them and their story. So now when they go out, we want to follow their story.
Awesome.
We're not going to stop following your story, but now we're interested in their story too.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And actually, my wife had made that comment the other night. Like, I feel like invested in the entire crew. I feel like a part of this family, truly like a family.
Awesome.
And you guys do an excellent job of that. However you do that.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Whatever the secret sauce is, bottle that up.
Sincerely, you guys
sell
do
that
an
up.
amazing job.
Well, and you made the comment about the consistency. Going back to someone saying this was an overnight success. I've heard of people and had conversations where they're like, well, I did this for a month and I don't have a million whatever it is they're looking for. Like, man, the people that have that, they didn't do it for a month. They did it for a year, and then they did it for 10 years, and they did it for however long it took to get there. And you guys did that. You did it for however long it took to get to where you had to go, and now you're doing even more.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing that might be a misconception is we intended Expedition Overland and what we do. We knew to look ahead to the big picture that if it was going to be sustainable and successful, we had to make a business out of it.
Yeah.
You have to pay the bills. You have team members that need to pay the bills. They've got kids to feed. So a lot of it has been just this entrepreneurial,
learning curve,
huge learning curve on what works. And that's the other big part of it. That was our goal. It wasn't an accident that we're here where we are in some ways. People can say that oh, well, you just fell into it. Nope.
No, you don't.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I don't think anybody falls into that kind of success. You know what I mean? It's and
9 out of 10 people that fall into those scenarios fail and have to call AAA. Or they have to, I mean, come on, that's funny. Yeah. They fall into stuff. But I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, just
rebuttal, please.
So going back to what Matt was saying about the investment in the family and you guys, I absolutely agree with that. You guys found a way to include us in the journey, and it's been amazing to watch and see you guys not only go explore as a company, but grow as a family, grow as human beings, grow and watch you guys do not only the group things, but then the individual things. And I think it's, we talked about it a little bit on the show. It's a huge I think beyond you inspiring people to go adventure stuff, you also inspire people to kind of say, this is what real life looks like. This is how hard work looks. This is what it takes to...
I'm going to buy a paraglider or whatever you guys had. I told my wife this week, like, look, this is going to happen. And this is why. And I showed this past
Look at this video.
week, and she's like, damn it. Because she knows, like, aeronautical stuff I am so infatuated with. And the way you guys did it, you know, I get emotional thinking about, because I saw the emotion that you guys went through and the perspective, like the change in perspective, life perspective was again amazing. And I'm going to give the I'm going to turn it back over.
Jeremy's going to come over here afterward, and he's like, hey, I heard the interview went well, but you got to keep Matt. You got to keep Matt completely away from them. So what's I don't want to say what's next, because I know you've already got something planned for 2022 already, but I mean, what for the foreseeable future, what are you focusing on?
Well, the big word is impact. So whatever we do is going to make an impact to the best of our abilities within what we are passionate about. And we're passionate about a lot of things. It's not just overlanding. Overlanding was a vessel to allow us to see the world, but like Matt was talking about, aviation was a thing that I wanted to pursue, and for different reasons, because it pushes me, it inspired me. I'd had a long time dream of doing that. At the end of the day, Expedition Overland has always at its heart been an adventure television or adventure series. Overlanding, we've been able to see a lot of the world over the last 10 years via vehicle and do some incredible stuff, but it is truly just a vessel to do all kinds of other things. And we're using that now to expand our horizons to the best of our abilities and wherever we're passionate. I can promise you that we're going to be staying true to ourselves, and it's funny that is the root of Expedition Overland. Every now and then we'll get feedback saying, "Hey, go back to your roots." And what they're talking about is they want to see us doing what we were doing in Alaska, Yukon. We're not those people anymore. No. I don't want to be that guy anymore. I want to be the next guy who's constantly pushing myself to go to the next thing, the family, my children, into the new things that keep us going. And I hope that is what the show will always continue to do. You may not be into overlanding. You might be into something else, ballroom dancing or bowling. I don't know. But if that is what makes you tick and that's what makes you a better person and it's pushing you, you better go do it. You know,
and I would say that the route of Expedition Overland is not the vehicle-based travel. The route is to your point, the impersonal growth and adventuring and doing something that somebody else isn't doing. The exploration,
the storytelling,
that's
right?
Like
the main part of it.
Look, I'll listen to you tell a story about how to make a pizza. One, I love pizza, and I love hearing you tell the story.
Really, you can't tell.
It is good.
Wait, hold on. Can you tell us about making pizza? Because personally, that would be amazing.
You love pizza. No, but I would argue that the route isn't the vehicle travel. It's the exploration and the growth and all the things you just mentioned. And I think that I'm sure there's a part of the business aspect that's a little bit scary in saying we're going to step away from four-wheel drive off-road camping and pursue something a little bit different. And I would be willing to bet that there's going to be some people that say, well, I'm not watching that show anymore because of X, Y, and Z.
That's
right?
Okay.
But I think what you lose there, you gain in respect and admiration from all of the other people and the new people that are now coming board going, what is this thing about this? They're flying on what? I don't understand. And now they go back and figure out where the base came from. Right? I really do believe that while it may be a scary business decision, I think to be true to yourselves, it's the next evolution of whatever you guys decide to do.
Yeah, thank you. And that is how it was. I mean, we talked to Icon. General Tire is our presenting level sponsor. We brought it up to them, and they were like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, this
we don't
is
know how it's going to work, but okay.
and they took a risk on us too, you know, but we'd had success over everything else we'd done, and which is just business sense and relationships. You do what you say you're going to do. You do it well, and then people will take a risk with you again. And we've worked with General Tire for years now, and Icon has been with us since Alaska, Yukon, and many others. MaxTrax from the very beginning, and all of them are like, okay, let's see what it does. You know, and they stepped in it with us.
Well, that says a whole lot, because again, you could do a show on hunting. I do not hunt.
I would watch your show on hunting.
Thank you.
I swear to you, fishing. Tell me about fishing. Like
fishing's boring, but Clay and Rochelle are doing it. All right, put on the fishing show. Let's watch it.
To me, fishing is boring, but I would watch your program about fishing. I get your insight and the way that you're able to impart your knowledge in an interesting manner. I'm all about it. Like,
oh, thank you.
Will you do any fishing shows? Maybe.
Look, I think you gotta.
Whatever.
Probably not.
Jose, please take the mic.
Because there's only so much content. I can see Clay narrating, going, "What do you want me to say?" He's casting it out, and then we sit there for 2 hours. What else could I talk about? No, look,
he's casting again.
Sorry. I wanted to ask you. So me and Cody were talking. I was talking to Cody this morning about. So I know you guys are going in a new direction with following Destiglo, like letting them do their story, having the other group do their story in Australia. But I'm like, I know you guys have been so guarded with the way you guys tell a story. Like, is there an anxiety level of what's going to be record, like what they record, right, and not having direct control of how to tell the story?
Great question.
The answer is to some degree, but if you spend time with people and you vet people, and you find out that they align with your ethos and what your vision is, then that pressure comes way down. Mm-hmm. And then we've spent already a considerable amount of time coaching them and kind of getting them spun up into the way of XO. Yeah. Plus, they've been on big production shoots. They've been on the big seasons before, so they've seen the motions of the day-to-day life and everything. So that was another area where all of our sponsors stepped into it with us. They took a risk with us because Great Pursuit was a great success as well. Yeah. So they said, okay, this is what's next, and they all jumped on board with us. They were actually quite excited. But with that being said, Expedition Overland is a brand, and we have a way of doing our things. And so we have already gone to the drawing board and mapped out a bunch of stuff on how to keep the solo series inside of a common thread. Mm-hmm. So I will still be doing narrations in each one of these series. They're all leaving from the X hangar. All these expeditions leave and come back to headquarters. And there is a group of people that you'll see in these upcoming episodes that, hey, we prepped the truck for you to be able to go. We're going to support you in any way. These are just merely teams that have left from the core. Yeah. And there's still a core that's backing them up. It's a part of the bigger picture.
Well, in every adventure, whether it be a day trip off-roading or a vacation with the family, every adventure is different based on the dynamic of the people that are experiencing the adventure with you, right? Absolutely. So having that adventure, because if you guys were to go do the Australia adventure, that would end up very different than if the three of us went and did it, right? It's all based on those. No one will watch that.
Damn it! Sorry, just I couldn't. Could you repeat that again?
No.
I just started laughing.
I'm saying.
You think it'd be different?
I'm saying that.
How do you think it'd be different?
One.
In what way?
We would never make it back alive.
Jose, please take the mic.
Two. No, but my point is that having other people go tell a story in a format that's proven will probably still lend a different flavor and different excitement and different experience and different emotional connection that. And I'm not saying that you guys can't get there, but it's going to be different, and that's got to be exciting to see the end result in that fashion.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see other people tell their stories because everyone has a story, no matter who you are.
That's kind of the tagline. You've got a story. We want to help you tell it. Like, right?
And it's so fun that I love that it's going to look different. Like the way Giordano's are going to tell their story is going to look completely different to how we would have told our story, and same with the Walthall. So. We're so excited. There's definitely always that level of we're handing over the child.
Yes,
we're handing you our baby. Please take care of it. And we have 150% trust in them that they absolutely will. They're fantastic people. So I can't wait to see what they're going to come back with. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Neither can we.
And
awesome.
There's going to be problems.
For sure.
There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be post-production issues. There's going to be editing problems.
There's a good chance that we had a really good interview yesterday that I didn't record. We won't
Oh
know
no,
until tomorrow.
there's more than one. I'll tell you. There's more than one of those.
Been
We'll
there,
see.
done that. Yeah. So
I would just like to pre-apologize to like the people that I talked to yesterday. If you don't hear from us, it's probably my fault.
Yeah.
But you can't grow unless you take these chances.
Absolutely.
And we always kick it out. Application for whoever's out there listening. And man, if you're not taking chances, you're not pushing it hard enough. You're not even close to achieving what your life could look like if you're not taking chances.
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying I need to be safe, you are really cutting yourself short of whatever future life you could have. You have to take risks.
Yeah.
And Expedition Overland will always take these risks. We may not always succeed at it, but we're always going to do our very best to keep growing and pushing it, and hopefully you will all stay along for the ride.
No, 100%. I love that you guys are like that you're doing it. I think that's what makes the community stick with what you're doing, regardless of whether it's 4 wheels or 4 propellers, whatever.
Yeah.
And really, really kudos to you guys for what you have built on the backbone of hard work and trust and faith. And it's been amazing to watch. And we are very excited. I'm so appreciative that you guys came and sat down and talked to us. And it's been fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Good times, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
I'm Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Nexen Tire. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DIRT. Thank you to Ryan Torino with all of the music.